Hey Pat, I didn't tweet about it yet because my laptop is loading, and I closed out my desktop too soon. But I will soon. Trademark.
Aaron, what are your thoughts about giving the chair over?
Hello, dreamers, and we no, we're not
I
ready.
have.
Darren, you alone are in the right slot. Darren is now the
That's
favorite
right.
child.
Ah.
Darren MVP, most valuable player.
No, it just means that Darren's always late.
That's not what that means at all. Don't lies and slander. Why would you want to dirty my name like that?
It's already dirty.
You want to say it's so easy.
Wow,
It's just
we're
you're
throwing
exposing everything today,
we're
guys.
throwing it out, huh?
It
We're
hurts.
throwing it all the way out.
The pain
We're
will never go
we're
away.
throwing it so far out. I feel like my
Yeah,
back is out of alignment. Oh fuck! I threw out my
yeah.
back. That
That
was
that
thrown
I'm seeing
out.
that bus a lot today. Just going back and forth. Is this reversing over the body?
Oh
parked on top of your
shit!
corpse.
Did I delete
it's
that
never-
source
it's
entirely
never
before? Oh
leaving.
fuck me!
Just rub the salt in the wound.
All right, where did Kai get off to? Let me wrangle
Disinfect it,
him.
you know?
I'm wrangling you, Kai. I'm a Kai wrangler. Call me the Kangler.
Ooh. I don't know if I told you guys about the crazy healer I want to play one day.
Oh.
Is her name Lonnie?
No.
Just-
So Cure Wounds is a touch spell, right?
Mhm.
I was gonna have the healer like shove their hand into the wound to cure wounds it. I
Bruh.
could
Well, how
add
does
salt
that
to
You gonna
work?
do a
it.
fucking Jack Honeydew?
So
License
like, how does that work?
revoked.
Does the wound seal around your hand then, or like?
I'm sure she pulls out.
I don't want to think about the Handosi. Anyway,
that's what I was saying.
welcome everyone to High
Can you
Road.
But
do
if you
that?
add
Can I
salt
make a
to
character
that,
like that?
if you add salt to that,
Can the wound like heal around their hand and they just yank it out
No,
for
no,
like
no.
even more damage?
The healer's hands are always sweaty.
Okay, so it just like slips out.
Yeah. Palm
No,
sweaty.
that's all the salt.
All the salt.
Her
Oh,
item is
okay.
going to be Mother Spaghetti.
so if I ever make another healer, watch out. You'll know which one it is.
I see.
So,
This is how
hello
Tyr will die.
everyone.
This is also my thoughts of the.
No, you're still getting healed.
We are here. We are all set up in our streamy weemies. So, I think that we begin now with Leland's Recap. Last time on High Road, our adventurers went on a lovely little trip across a road. But this time it was at low elevation because it was around a high area. How unexpected.
Speak for the tall people.
And they've now arrived and are attempting to engage in what is known in some circles as a reverse IKEA. They're at the store trying to sell the furniture. Wow! Welcome to this wacky episode of High Road.
Wait, let me see if the audio is on and if we have video on too.
And no, yeah, the audio and video is on.
Okay.
That clip it. Don't forget to leave yourself site muted on so we get the viewer. Anyway, hello everyone. I didn't just describe a view harvesting tactic. So, don't forget, before we get going with our zany adventures tonight, there's two major ways you can impact the action, other than pressing the laugh track button. You can use a Dangerous to Go Alone, spend 2,000 channel points to give a certain character a certain insight or item in the moment at my discretion, as in I pick what it is, but you decide that it happened. And there's a little bar on the left-hand side of the screen. What is it? What does it do? What's gonna happen? When it meets $50, has a wild magic surge or a wild whatever surge of some variety, right? And that carries over, so if we get like $10 tonight, next time it'll be 10 in. Mature content warning. Hello, Matt Stew Drinker. Wait, I think there's always a mature content warning on us, right? Because we swear like sailors, or I swear like a sailor. You know.
Is that what mature content is?
If you say fuck too much, you're
It's a
actually
water part.
yeah. If you say fuck too much, you're actually supposed to do it.
Oh.
They can, technically speaking, clap you if you don't. We're too small to get clapped, but we had somebody who used to be on the channel a lot who was really concerned about it until I finally did it. And you get a little racy sometimes, a little borderline, a little something.
I mean, we're
Yeah,
talking about
Darren.
clapping, so like, yeah, it's a little racy.
Oh my god. Not that
Oh,
kind
is that
of
the
clap.
is that the
Not
not the
that
kind of
kind
clapping
of-
we're supposed
So
to be talking
anyway,
about?
Tento, you sit here in
I
you're
called it
here
then.
in Jan Lon's upper floor of his wizard tower, surrounded by a brilliant teal, stone encrusted interior and elegant scratched floor. There's a chimera here going with its slightly reduced flames, feeling all good about the chemicals it just got in its body. And Jan Lon is happy now to discuss with you at length the fate of a certain divination chair.
I think I said I used Transcendental Bond last time.
Sento, okay,
Right,
so
yeah.
Darren, hold on one moment real quick, Darren. So like when Jeb Bush said please clap, what do you think he was asking the people in that audience to do?
You know, I don't know how that person's mind works. You know, if they want to, hey,
Alright,
who
And
am I
this
to
is
judge?
why we
Moving on.
have
Who
a
am I to
podcast
judge?
because of Darren.
Indeed, indeed. Hey Matt. So yeah, the group is gathered here today. You've traveled long, and Jan Lon's happy to see you. You've got the divination chair. He wants the divination chair. He has a lot of magic items. He's like, come, come. Shall we peruse my goods, and perhaps we could discuss an exchange? Oh, and have you had any refreshments? I know you've been a long journey and had an arduous time. The Brass Eye Citadel is not a very inviting place, I'm given to understand. He says with deference to Orochi.
Yeah, I think I did use Transcendental Bond at the end
Mm-hmm.
of last session, so
Also, I'm definitely hearing like video game music from someone.
oh, that might be me.
No, but no one would be ever be playing Animal Crossing while playing
It's
D&D,
actually not
right?
Animal Crossing.
So you are the one playing the game.
It's just if
No,
we're,
I
What are
just
you playing
had
today?
it on my iPad.
Hmm.
I forgot how sensitive this mic is. Um,
Depending on the game, and the music track and whether or not we're able to streaming it, we can get audio muted
Yeah.
on the VOD. That's the only reason I bring it up.
but
Just the only reason.
are we giving him the chair?
Out of curiosity, it's like in character, I think you triggered like a minute's worth of psychic communication, which is
A
theoretically.
minute, please. I mean, if you want to give me a minute on this thing, sure.
Oh wait, how long does it last? Is it 10 seconds?
It's the no. It's like
Thought it was a minute.
number.
I thought it was in it too.
No,
'Cause
it's the number. It's some words. Number of rounds equal to my level. So
Okay.
8 rounds right now.
All right,
So almost a minute.
minute and 20.
Oh wait, we're
No,
Oh,
I
6
think
second
this is
rounds.
on
6
this-
second rounds. Sorry.
wait. I think it said on the stream that we're level 7.
Oh
Yes, this one is
shit!
being
I
level
need to
7.
update the.
Ah.
thing, my
I
bad.
was like,
Oh,
You're
when
level
you said,
8. You're
when
all
you said
level
8.
8.
I was like, wait a second. It says on the stream we're 7.
I forgot. It's been so long since we leveled. Also, on our character sheet it says level 7, by the way. So
Oh,
Does it? I thought
definitely
it- I
tick
mean,
that up
no?
because I think that automatically
Yeah, no,
activates
I
some
haven't said
things
the
in
level
5e.
8 one.
Tick that up to 8.
Yeah. At least I changed my level to 8. I chose
I
from the
did
level
not.
8.
So Yanlan is
You were
there.
doing
You have
specific
like a
on-
minute and change of mental conversation. What y'all saying? What y'all doing? In that mental communication. Also, he's still there, like standing like expectantly. During this time, you have the mental communication. He's like looking at everyone.
I trust him, but I do have a question for him.
Tell me, would you care for some refreshments? I have many fine
do you-
beverages from across the land, and of course,
Sure.
again, crumpets.
do you
Yeah,
have
it's-
meat for?
Of course,
You have
of
meat
course.
for medley over here.
Yes,
I will have I will have Medley brought the finest veal and venison.
in Tento's, in the transcendental communication, he's like, yes, Lonnie, accept it. Medley is her name.
I'm
But,
going to remind me to kick him out of this next time.
Yeah, it's not
If you-
Orochi this time.
just wait for your turn.
It's okay.
You
I
never-
didn't get this as Kabancho, not really. So I don't really expect it with Orochi.
Damn.
So, okay, my next
But,
character probably won't get it either. don't
Medley
worry
is
about it.
also on the thing, I believe.
What does Medley say?
Eh?
What does Medley do? Does she understand what's going on?
Medley is just sort of like happy at the mention of meat and like breathes fire a little, and it's sort of like a flame spout, a bit more like a concert pyrotechnic than a broad range of kill, and there's some dances against Giru, well treated against such things, and Yanlan is, a little bit sheepish about the fact that he's got a fucking chimera in his house, but he's also fascinated. He's looking at it, Medley, like, and he's like making almost mental note.
If we do give it to him, though, I want to still be able to use it when we need it.
I would
That makes
also want to
sense.
ask him about his position in the current town dynamic and how he thinks he could keep it safe.
I also want to see if he'll.
Yanlon is still asking you about the refreshments and kind of like looking like,
So who wants
shall
to?
we?
Who wants to go first on the questions before we get some refreshments? Or we can talk about taking refreshments. Thoughts on that?
Y'all know
Or-
which room are we going to?
He's like,
Okay.
oh, well, we could discuss it up here, or we could discuss it downstairs, you know. I can have someone
I
bring up
think-
some chairs.
I think it'd be best if we discuss it up here.
Oh, certainly, certainly. And he claps his hands, and you see from this, like, almost looks like blue glass, but a bit scratched up, you see melting up out of the floor, like this circular shape that begins to take place. And it rises, a lip pops with an audible, and you see a stem rising below as a table comes up.
I'm gonna lean over the line. Do you think we can get our castle to do this? Can you do this? Can you help our house do this, Lonnie?
We use very different types of magic.
Look how cool that is. We should try to do it too.
Well, Scout, you know that I believe he learned this magic, so theoretically you could as well.
I don't think the world is ready for a magical Tento.
Says the Tento that can cast Entangle.
Says the person is so cursed that they're basically magical innately at this point.
Chairs also
More
melt up
magical.
out of the ground.
Okay.
Also, is your breathing not magic?
I don't. I personally don't consider it as magic.
Mm.
It's like is inner rage magic? I mean,
guess not.
I actually don't know. Is it considered magical?
I mean, is Tento saying this out loud, or is Tento thinking
No.
this in the
This is
brainwave?
out of.
Alright, this is the being thought on the brainwave. This might be amongst the last things you think on the brainwave, because you did have about a minute on that call card.
Yeah. Ooh, Tinto takes a seat. It's too. Oh. Okay, I guess I'm on the seat like this.
Yep. You pop down, Lumi comes up in the bit between. There's like a little wolf seat elevated up. She's like, whoop. And Yanlon's like, and so Zion, you stand in the doorway with 120. You kind of come take a seat at the table. You chilling?
There's 120 y'all get a seat.
I'll stand in the room.
Yeah, certainly.
Zahn
No one
is
wants to
his
next to
own seat.
Yamlon.
Mm.
Just on the other side of the table.
Yarlon does summon some of his bodyguards, and someone does bring up a tray of crumpets, as well as, you know, like some glasses of water. And it's overall very nice. It's nice crystalline glass. And yeah, Hobgoblin Bushi kind of stands in the corner watching. As Yarlon says, so, we are in a very private and secure location. We can now discuss freely the matters at hand. You obviously have some very significant pieces of hardware, and I have great interest in obtaining them. And of course, I know that I have items of interest to you, so there's no need to be coy. Tell me, what is your heart's desire?
Well, I think before discussing on what we want, I think we need to discuss on what we have
Certainly.
and how we're going to deal with that first.
Indeed, there will be procedures that we must observe to handle the device with the utmost care and safety.
Care and safety is one of my concerns. I'm gonna be blunt with you, Yalman.
Indeed. I
How do you
appreciate
feel
honesty.
about your current position in this city, in this province?
He looks around, he lays out his hands, and he says, I feel confident that I am a man with many friends and no particular enemies. When Eliza Gadek reigned, I had a good business. And I did business across Cathadak and beyond. And when her daughter, should she successfully engage in this rebellion, which I believe she will, at the very least Gedi Vargar shall fall, I will be happy to continue to do business across Cathadak and beyond, potentially even with she. So, in terms of the overall governance of the province, I accept the will of the flame. As for town, I think that we have a very amicable understanding with the local ruler. Me and my fellow members of the Merchants Conclave. And we have had meetings since the departure of our friend, who you now inform me is alive, whom we thought deceased, on how to strengthen security measures. After the scare, the town leadership is looking for solutions and outward signs of security that we can help provide due to our magical expertise. In return, we will further ingratiate ourselves with the establishment. In this way, Verzi will continue to be a profitable town, well secured in all regards. And we have cooperated with the temple on this matter, and there has been progress in our relations as a result of this cooperation. Overall, despite the tragic loss of my friend, who by now received the wonderful news is in fact not deceased at all and may yet return to us one day, I would say my position in the town is overall strengthened, and my capacity to steward the item with my associates is increased.
Insight check on two particular points. One, when he said no particular enemies,
Hmm?
and the second one when what he just said was he thinks that his position
Yeah.
in, I guess, the power dynamic is stable.
Yeah, by all means. Same insight check will get you the same vibe, because you're trying to read his tones of voice, his
16.
tells, his hands. Yeah, so you think Jan Lon fucking picks it up at cards, because he ain't an easy man to read. That being said, he keeps a level and honest tone. You don't think he was lying when he said he appreciated honesty when you said, let me be blunt. So overall, you get the vibe that he is... You don't think that he's lied to you. But he's also got a solid composition. He's a very composed man. Tento.
God.
Yanlon's good at cards, but you know how to cheat. You would
Yeah,
note
that sounds
that
alright.
Yanlon, when discussing the matter of no particular enemies, he doesn't put it in the voice, but he does this thing where he's got two fingers out on the table often, and he'll flex them in his knuckle for just long enough that if you're really looking, if you're really passive perception 19, if you're really trying to read him, you notice just a bit of the flex. You're just maybe you don't even hear the crinkle, but you see just a bit of the whitening of the knuckle, and you know that Yanlon is not lying, but he was putting emphasis on no particular enemies. It's not that he doesn't have enemies, it's just that there's none in particular. Being a person of the road and a man of business, you know that people are always trying to rob men like Jan Lon. Magic merchants are the mother lode. And most often, you can't get it in their house. Normally, that is a huge, thank you, Matt, like coup, right? And for a man of this power, with this authority, with these bodyguards, with friends like you, it would be inconceivable for the average thief to try and rob him at his house. But you know, in your time as a scout, you learned all about robbing people before the thing even arrives at their house. So there's definitely people who would piss in Yanlon's porridge to take his shit, but they will probably do it en route rather than do a brazen assault on his house. Or if they tried to rob him, they would try and make sure that there was no possible way they'd ever figure out who done it. Because he's not a man you want to make your enemy. He is a magician with a great wealth of magical items and deep connections with other magic users. He's not a man who you fuck with lightly.
Do not trifle with this man.
Yeah, I mean, you think that the Cult of Shadows could probably mobilize someone to knock him over, but they don't profit from that. They don't profit from making an enemy like him. So it's not like he's secretly enemies with some other merchant and he's lying about that. It's just that he's saying, I have no enemies in particular, and he's not lying, but there is a grain of hidden truth in that statement. As for his position, he's reluctant to admit the fact that the death and chaos, he's potentially coming out of, like, after a bit of a scare, potentially coming out of it ahead. Potentially coming out of it looking more like a cornerstone of the community. Where there was initially concerns about, like, oh, magic users inviting this nonsense, because he was there with the tools to help equip you guys, with the black iron to help test for Fae, because he acted quickly, and he managed to parlay that into partially taking credit for what you did without saying as much. Technically speaking, like, you're asking him, like, how's your position in town? It's only gotten stronger since the events that you guys were here for, since the Changeling incident. So he's feeling more secure about his position in town than he has in a while.
Alright. Good to know. I want to ask him my question last.
Sorry, one last thing. You say no particular enemies, but word on the street is not everyone's looking too kindly to magic users, or specifically magic merchants.
There,
People that supposedly invited these fake creatures into town and let them fester.
he nods and says, men will talk in their cups, and they will seek simple solutions to complex issues. But at the end of the day, I am a member of this community. And people know when times are hard that my generosity is great. And that when there are dangers which threaten our town, I am at their disposal. Ultimately, while there are some who always put superstition and suspicion upon my trade and my craft, Verziwa houses more merchants and magical merchandising than anywhere in this province west of Cathator. Because we are welcome here, and because there is an understanding that when the time comes, just as the farmers bring the grain, the smiths beat the iron, and the soldiers, and sometimes in Cathadak all are called to be soldiers, stand firm. We too play a role, and that is understood here, more so than elsewhere. We have carved this place for ourselves through effort and years of participation with the Aurorii. And though I would not claim the title myself, I have been acclaimed a noble of the hearth, because I have participated and I do not hold myself above my neighbors. So while there are those in town who may grumble and, seeing me, say that they are not in favor of whatever arrangements I have with the nature of my trade, when push comes to shove, they know that I am of value to this town, as I have proven and will prove again. As for the talk of Fae and blame, I think at some point everyone realized that there were two realities that they could live with the paranoia brought about by the changelings. They could live the rest of their life believing everyone was a changeling, they could trust no one, that no one was their loved one, that they could never take their eyes off of anyone. Or they could accept that the measures taken are enough, that we have warded against them, that we have rooted out the Fae. Ultimately, between the black iron tests and the boiling of eggshells, people have witnessed that our measures work. And they have a sense that it was the magic users of the town who helped provide them. So, I think that the overall feeling in town does lean in our favor now, although there may still be grumblings. I suspect they continue to quiet, until they will eventually be nothing more than a murmur.
Sorry, as a side, it's starting to sound like you're describing a TSA. Sorry.
Yanlon's like, now listen. Yes, we do have randomized checks. Yes, if you objectively look at the list of people who were pulling aside and check their names, they're not really randomized tests. No. Listen. Everyone gets the black iron test, everybody walks by the boiling eggshells in Verziwa. Yanlon is... I will save my
sorry.
commentary. I will say I know what you said. Actually. Asian, actually, really cool guy. Anyway,
I just had to bring that up.
fair.
But no, Orochi after that will fall silent and he seems satisfied.
Yep. So that's Yanlan's shtick.
I look around the table and across the room.
Okay. Did you want to ask him anything, Lonnie?
Yanlan also glances at Zion. Zion, you don't really have a facial expression, so to speak, but are you like saying or doing anything, or are you just chilling?
I'm just chilling.
He's
Zion
enjoying
stands
the
as if though a suit of
interrogation.
armor at attention, unyielding. Yeah.
Alright, well, I guess, ask my question then about Yanlan. But, don't think I should ask this question in front of your, guard here. He's okay, but like, maybe goes in the other room for a second. It's very, very personal.
Yanlan would say, "Oh, of course. You have the freedom of my abode, and if you should require further privacy, I can ask that my guards step out of the dining area below at length."
I would appreciate that.
Indeed. So does the party adjourn to the lower floor?
No, I just want the guard to leave the room
Oh,
so you can't hear what I'm about to ask.
Oh, you want this guard to leave the room?
Yeah.
Yanlan would say, "I would say that I trust that man with my life, and he will almost certainly be involved in the defense of the chair. I could, of course, request that he step out, but..." He kind of like moves his mouth and says, "I did not get to the place of trust I possess by keeping certain secrets from people. But, yes." He kind of nods, and Hobgoblin Bushi sort of like gives a nod, steps out. I'm assuming you guys like get close. When 20 L's like in the doorway, kind of looks at like Zion, like, it's gonna tip inside or outside, or
It shall stay.
it's dude. Hobgoblin Bushi kind of like, all right, and the door slides shut. Which again looks like a paper wall, but is
But we know otherwise.
unlike the suspiciously thick paper walls of a certain keep that you once stayed overnight in episode 2.5. These are reinforced material that looks like it's been alchemically treated and is pretty thick. So yeah, you're here in the chamber. Yanlan says, "By all means, ask."
Yeah, sorry about having you to ask him in a way. I just this is this very important question I gotta ask. So, what we're about to trade for you is something very, very powerful, and it gives, and it's gonna give you a lot of power. While I do trust you and I do believe you are for the people, that giving that much power to one person is just generally a
That is
not
why
advice idea.
when I have received this item, my associates and I will collaborate on its best use and move forward with a consensus.
See, I don't believe that's enough though. I need something else.
Something else. I'm intrigued.
Young,
Indeed.
I would like to know something about you that would just absolutely destroy you if it got out.
A curious attempt to obtain blackmail material, but I regret to inform you, I have lived a rather modest and honest life, and I cannot think of anything in particular that would bother me so.
Insight
I
check.
find that
He clacks.
class.
Wow, show me an insight. Show me an insight. Do I see a 20 on Lonnie?
Oh, is it gonna be another 22?
Another natural
There
one.
you go.
No, it's a 28.
Into a
Oh
19.
Lord!
Oh,
God.
So
Lord,
close to a
lordy.
20.
Can we just appreciate that Tento's lucky has taken him
Halfling.
from not wanting the insight to over 20 twice tonight?
Twice.
Back to back? These rolls.
Yeah.
What even?
Yep. It
Alright,
feels
Lonnie
good.
and Tento are the only ones making these. Lumi licks herself in boredom, like. So
Where's the
Did
meat?
Lumi get food?
yeah, the meat has been delivered. There's like a little like charcuterie of like meat cuts, for her like down by the by the Wolfie, seat, and like something you hear as like the meat that was brought up for the Chimera just ripped into little juices, kind of like splatter on Zion's grief. And Yan Lan, after looking at that, is kind of he's considering, and you would notice Tento and Lonnie. There's like a bit of a longer pulse of the white knuckle than usual, as he after that does it. And Lonnie, you don't think that Yan Lan is being perfectly honest, but you also don't get the vibe he's gonna hand over blackmail material to do this transaction. He might be willing to give you more stuff, but he's not willing to incriminate himself in any way. Tento, you can't read his mind, no matter how well you roll an insight. However,
That's fair. Yeah, that makes sense.
the
Not
tw-
without a spell, he can't.
with a 28 in this context, you've known Yan Lan a bit. You've had you had a prior interaction. You've had prior transactions. You've seen his magical matrix armory room. You've done business with him. You've had a few sit downs. He's asked you some personal questions.
Not too personal.
You think Yan Lan is probably not just a dealer of items. He is probably a dealer of information. You don't know how or why or in what circles he moves, but you think he is an information broker because information brokers have a common trait. They would love to tell you as little about themselves as possible while letting you tell them as much as possible, inviting instances where you will reveal more, offering what initially might feel like an equivalent exchange, and just soaking in the information as your mind goes back to that initial exchange of questions. His interests. You think that Yan Lan is probably not upfront about the Whisper business. You also very much doubt that there's like any hard evidence you could use to prove that he's in it. Unless he's the sort of person who keeps like a coded ledger somewhere.
Is that it?
That's it. That's the 28
Okay.
insight. That's the 28
So-
insight result.
Yan, I know you're a man of business, and I know that, sometimes we, businessmen do something they're not proud of. And I find it hard to believe that as much business have you done, there wouldn't be something incriminating. I just want to point out that I want this information because what we are giving you reveals a lot of secrets about a lot of other people. That's a fact.
Lonnie crosses her arms and doesn't look happy. He's like, besides, you've asked some rather personal things of us already.
Yan Lan says, that is fair. That is fair. And you do bring up a point, which is that this is about the flow of information, the knowledge. Well, I can't say that there's anything incriminating in my history, but
Yan,
I'll do you one. I think I have a proposition. So obviously we'll be making an exchange of goods, but this too is an exchange of information between friends, between colleagues, between associates who've shown that we can do business together. So, as I have asked things of you, I shall let you ask things of me. When last you were in my presence, I asked each of you a series of questions. I propose, in return, that the four of you, Orochi, Lonnie, Tento, Zion, each ask me 2 questions. Now I will answer completely honestly.
I mean, I already asked my question. That doesn't change what
Just
I
ask
want
it
to
again.
ask. Yeah.
Honestly,
Yanlon says, well, you have asked a rather broad question, and I have answered it broadly. Perhaps if you ask a specific one, I would answer specifically.
honestly and openly.
Honestly and openly.
This is I feel like I didn't ask a very broad question. I asked him something about like what would absolutely like destroy this man's career.
Yeah, like you're like, what's? Yeah, you were like, hey, what's blackmail that
I-
will destroy
yeah,
you?
like
And his
I don't,
response was,
I
there is
don't,
none.
I don't think, I don't think I could ask like any more like seriously. Like, come on,
Yeah.
Yalan.
All right. He says, well, very well then. If this is your first question, I will say that this is. He thinks about it for a moment, and he says simply, "I can think of people who would be greatly displeased if you were to reveal this information, but bear in mind that this exchange does not involve me giving you any proof. You consider that acceptable?" This involves giving you no proof because I ensured there would be none. You understand?
If it's enough to like ruffle some feathers, yeah.
He sighs and he says, yes, well, there was a sacred tree at the local temple. It was fed by the fumes of the oracular vapors of the hot springs that we have, that Verziwa is well known for. I believe you visited there. You did. You had a very trippy time when you went into the hot spring vapors, if you recall. And he says, I traded in exchange for a considerable piece of information relating to an item which has since come into my possession. A particular musical instrument. The harpsichord of Harold. I traded information which led to that plant's unfortunate destruction in the process of attempting to clip one of its branches. I understood the intention of the individual when I sold them that information. If the temple were to learn of this, they would not be pleased. It caused a bit of a row.
Do I get the feeling that he's talking about like the temple in this town, or
The temple
or
generally
just-
would not approve of it, but the temple in this town specifically, yeah.
Okay.
Like
he
no
seem-
no agent of of any temple would be pleased to discover we've been up to this shit, but for the people in this town, it's personal. Because that was one of their fucking tourist attractions.
Oh, okay. That is actually very personal. Okay. Now, does this seem sincere? Is he telling the truth?
You don't see the tell.
Wanna
You don't see the tell, and he doesn't seem to be trying to hold out. You could roll again.
No, it's fine. Then
Let's
just
see if you
like
roll that nat 20.
no, I'll roll 1, then a nat 20. Get it
Ah,
straight.
there we go.
But Tento's just sort of like sighs, like, okay. Now,
That's
I
your
wanna
first
point out again-
question. Now then, shall we
don't
take
need
it in
sec-
turns again? Oh, I love taking turns.
I
Yes?
was like, Tento's like, I don't need to ask the second one. I'm fine with just that one question.
He's like, well, I would
Santa, you asked
still
you a
be
pretty
sure that
personal
your
question last time.
I would still be sure that your companions were satisfied. And he looks to Orochi and he says, Orochi, ask away.
I have a. So this is actually a question, but I'm not trying to use one of my questions. Does that make sense?
Do you say that to Yanlan?
Is this?
I was
is this
actually,
some
I was
G-
trying to talk to Lee there, but
Well,
I don't know how
Yanlan's
good
expecting
we're
you
gonna
to spend
take
one of your 2 questions right now, so you might need to say something to him before you ask this.
not as one of the 2 questions that you are offering us,
Indeed.
but I was wondering if you'd be acceptable to trade in 2 questions for a favor. Not that is to be used at this time, but sometime down in the future.
Well, we are friends, Roshi, and we have exchanged gifts, and now we may exchange favors. And as one performs a favor for another, the time comes when the other will exchange the favor for them. Entering into this lovely chain of events is part of knowing people and being a good member of the community. All this to say that I'm offering you information in exchange for an openness of information, but you may hold your favor in return for a favor of information, if that is to your preference.
I'm honestly satisfied with the knowledge that I have. Excuse me. With the with your answers to my prior questions earlier. I'm not quite seeking the knowledge, but with a little bit of assistance down the road.
Yanlon's house
happening and,
is always open to his friend.
A lot's happening, and it'd be nice to have a favor owed coming into the future, not a favor
Certainly.
to be earned in the future.
I understand your meaning. I will consider the favor owed. And he looks at Lonnie and says, Lonnie, Zion?
I do have one extra thing I would like to confirm.
He looks at you and says, confirm.
Last we talked, you agreed to keep an eye out for artifacts of the wave burner kind.
Indeed. I am afraid
Has
that
that agreement changed?
no more have come upon. I have not come upon any more. That being said, given the current state of civil war, people are generally not traveling into the province with rare goods. It's a dangerous time to be on the roads.
I understand. I just wanted to confirm that our agreement is still standing.
Our agreement stands. I will keep you abreast of the information, and should you be reachable, I'll offer you the right of first refusal on their acquisition.
Alright, I'm satisfied.
So Yanlon looks and he says, Lonnie, Zion. Casey there?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay.
Lonnie. I don't think she asked this last time. But why did you want to know about the password to the Glyke passage?
And he says, because traveling through Kokoloi Forest is very dangerous, but sometimes very necessary. And if the need arose that someone needed to get through, I might have wanted to be able to get through.
When you say someone, do you mean you? And just you?
Me, or in an extreme circumstance, someone acting upon my behalf.
Insight.
Mm-hmm. Stop it. You don't see the tell, but there's other ways that you could be. I mean, you don't see the white knuckle tell. That being said, like that's not the not like the ultimate tell. I mean, it might be, but it doesn't. It's not like a magical yes no. So, yeah, Yanlon is a good card player. You don't quite get the sense either way in terms of whether or not that was the ultimate truth, but when he kind of senses your hesitance, he would say, I do not intend to sell that information.
And what are your plans for if someone disagrees about your usage of the chair?
If that person is one of my fellow Magi of the town, then we will have a conversation and we will have to come to a consensus. This is a powerful tool Rather than to hoard it, I intend to disperse the responsibility, and if we cannot agree, then we will have reached a state of deadlock and will not proceed with its use.
And if it's someone outside of your circle?
I keep my ear open to the community. But if the Eye for Existence takes umbrage with the fact that I'm using it, well, he shrugs. I can't say that would bother me.
Well, Lonnie just like leans back because that was her true questions.
Yep, and Yanlon looks to Zion.
I have no particular questions. I will table it for favors.
And so it is. Able for
Take
favors.
my idea. How dare you?
Well then. Lovely. So, are we all in agreement that you can trust me with this item?
Indeed.
Very well then, allow us to discuss the price. When last you were here, you saw some of the items in my collection. You used some of them for a time before returning them. And perhaps you'd be interested in having them on a more permanent basis. And he's basically kind of intimates like, yeah, you guys seen some magical gear I got. You want it?
So wasn't some of the gear that we currently have stuff that he has quote unquote given us because of our work with the changeling?
Yeah.
Yeah, he lets you keep
What we
some,
have
but
is
not all
ours.
of it. Yeah, that stuff's still
Yeah.
yours. He's taught, but some of the magic items he gave you.
Do we have a list of which ones for keeps and which ones are loan?
So, okay, everything that you had with you when you went to that dungeon was for keeps. You had that on you, right? When the stuff he let you leave town with is your property. Any loaner is an item you had already given back to him.
Oh, okay.
So, like the deck,
So I thought
right?
you meant like we still had some
No,
loans
no,
on
no,
us,
no,
and
no,
I got
no.
confused.
He's basically saying, like, if you remember the stuff I loaned you last time and you gave back, yeah, you could just have that stuff.
Yeah, okay. Now I'm on the same page.
And if there are no particular items in my collection which terribly intrigue you, there is always the currency of the realm.
Just quick out character question. The snake statuette that adds an additional dice roll to any healing caused by the staff. Would that apply to the once a day cure wounds from?
Yes, I believe it
Okay.
would. I'll check. Indeed, yeah. The truthful questions. This is So Yanlon is the person who they're talking. Like they weren't sure they trusted Yanlon selling the big oracular telescope to him. So we had an exchange of truths. But yeah, I believe, based on my recollection of I'll check right now, but I believe, based on that wording, that yeah, when you use once a day that staff to cast Cure Wounds, it would roll an extra healing dice when you have that Caedicus on it. The
Okay.
snake.
Cool. Well, along with some magic items, would we still be permitted to use the chair for our own needs?
Yanlon nods, thinks about it, and said, so long as my colleagues didn't have took any great umbrage with it, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. What sort of interests did you have in the oracular variety? I can't imagine what they would take umbrage with. I'm assuming you're thinking to your own fortunes and futures and opportunities?
Yes.
You would shrug and say, we will discuss the specifics once we have the item and it is emplaced safely in the astrologically significant location, but unless my fellow merchant wizards were truly dead set against you, I think it should be easy enough. But I am proposing to not take this as something I personally ultimately control, even though I am paying to acquire it, you would note, but rather something that we come together to use, because I don't believe one person should make the decision as regards it. It is a potent item. And while I do thirst for knowledge, I understand that it can be a complicating factor in the course of history.
Fair, as long as the door's still open to us.
Door is open. And again, I can think of no reason that my colleagues would be opposed to you returning now and again to use the item. Really, as long as it wasn't in use by one of us, I don't see what anyone would bring against it. I would notify them, but your reputation as town is assured. I mean, you brought the fight to the Fae. I can't see why anyone would have an issue with you doing anything with the item. Your character is assured.
I don't know if I quite agree with that. Greed and not power per se, but greed and ambition can sway the influence of someone's opinion.
True, although I'm not sure what any of them would stand to gain from seeking to slight you. I mean, you are people in possession of items and wealth and their acquisition. None of my fellow merchants have a reason to close off potential business opportunities with you. And you are movers and shakers in an evolving political scenario, given your membership in the Shade of the Mountain, a key player in the present rebellion, which is looking pretty set to march on the capital in short order. So, anyone motivated by greed or influence would still seek to be on your best side. That's his argument, basically.
He brings a very good point.
You could incite him. You could pose a counterpoint, but that's basically his stance. It's like, I don't think anyone's gonna really oppose you using it because.
So.
Well,
Oh.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. You can go first.
Well, I know I have something I had an eye on. It's something that I borrowed last time we had deals. It was called an item with a specific name called the Resurgence Belt.
Ah, yes. I'm bringing up the document on my laptop.
Yeah, it's while attuned, the wearer gets +1 AC, and if another creature within 5 feet of you is attacked, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on that attack roll.
Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, and Delania would say, I indeed still have this belt in my possession, and I would be happy to part with it as part of our exchange.
And how much is this chair worth to you?
Ooh. When we deal with items of such magnitude, it is hard to put a amount of coin to it. But another way of asking it is, you gesticulate at your staff. How much is that worth to you? If someone offered you 1,000 coins, would you part with it?
I'm not asking about coin. I'm asking about what you're willing to offer to.
Ah, of course. What am I willing to offer? It is an item of great instrumentality. My instruments are those of the analyst and the scholar. And your implements are also sometimes scholarly and also sometimes related to the expedience of the battlefield. So, you offer me a tool of great utility. I offer you each a tool of great utility in turn. Give them the info. Got a lot of info out of them in the first meeting.
Yep.
So is he saying like the chair is just worth one magic item, or
He is
like a 1-for-1 thing?
He's
He's saying that.
His opener is that it's worth 4, in that it's worth 1 for each of the party members.
Okay.
That's his opener. It's worth noting. You are haggling.
Mm-hmm. So out of character, what are you guys all interested in one item as well? So Shin stated his, I've stated mine because I'm interested in that snake statue again.
Yeah, Zion did get research data. I mean, you could put that on the table right now. You could resolve that as a separate transaction, but you did get research data that Yanlon is interested
I mean, just like just for the chair, and then we can negotiate with like other items as well.
Yeah, the only reason why I bring that up is because we might know if we trying to like sweeten the pot, we could increase the value that's on the table to sweeten the deal for us. That's the only reason why I brought it up now and not later.
Well, I'm just trying to get like what people want.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't really want any of these. So if anyone else wants another item,
Zion, just because it's trash
Yeah.
to you.
Well, I mean,
doesn't
Yanlon,
mean-
that's not the sum total of like everything Yanlon has if you've got other interests. Additionally, I mean, so Zion, you've never said anything to Yanlon about the fact that you have scholarly pursuits or tinkering. But Yanlon would note, Zion, I'm given to understand that you have quite the menagerie of constructs. I see you brought one with you again, and it is said that in battle you have officers known as the Iron Sars who come from the mountain. Am I reliably informed? Well, he thinks about it for a moment. He says, are you familiar with an entity known as a Defiant Logos?
Yeah, we are.
yes.
I have something which might interest you. A record of an interview with one.
What?
I
We're
don't
talking
know
about
why
like
an
an eighth
interview
quarter. We're
is
talking
so-
about like
Is it
a vinyl.
it got interviewed?
Yes, well, you see, there was once a scholar who, shall we say, had a deep desire for second-hand and first-hand accounts of certain ancient events. They sought out the eldest of elves, they summoned the dead, they did other things not advised by the temple, and they spelunked into a certain cave where it is known that there's a ruin where a great red iron door that opens only with an offering of the blood of one whom you have the strongest of emotion. They opened this passage, and within they discovered the Defiant Logos. They bested it in combat and showed it the strength of their conviction. In return, they offered to answer any question that they had. And they sat down with their scroll and their quill and their ink, and they got writing down every single question they asked.
Interesting.
This certain scholar's name has unfortunately been erased from time, so they are known only as the Timeless Scholar. In part because of their pursuits of ancient knowledge, and in part because we can't refer to them another way.
Interesting.
Yeah, a scholar said to tread far distances. No,
Ah!
no, it was,
That's what I thought you were.
it
leading
wasn't.
to.
It wasn't tread
Fucking
far. This,
fight?
this,
Wait,
this is
man,
not.
it
This
took
is not a
like-
random tread far interview that they just kind of like left
took
on the
like-
table. They left on the
took
table
like
somewhere, and
all of us to
Yanlon's
pick-
trying to pass it off.
It took all of us to like pick down one of these things. What the fuck is it? What is Trevor took it down by himself? What is going on there?
Yeah, they are not.
The
They're
pen's
a
mighty
lover,
to the
not a
pen,
fighter.
Or the pen's mighty to the sword.
Yeah. A lover of knowledge, not a lover of the battlefield. Yeah. So, yeah, no, this is the interview with the Timeless Scholar, with the Defiant Logos, and Yanlon would say, the Defiant Logos revealed some things that I'm not aware of in any other source relating to constructs, in particular, those with blood in their veins. These ancient devices have resurfaced more in recent days. Information may grow in value soon, but for now, I think that it would be of great utility to you, as the chair is of great utility to me, if you'd be interested.
I am interested.
So yeah, he's like, well, I have it in my collection. I'd be happy to Make it as one of our items of exchange. And Orochi, you've mentioned the belt. You mentioned that out loud, yeah?
Yeah.
And of course, Orochi, your belt will be arranged. And he turns to Lani and Tento and he says, and of course, you are parting with something that you've risked life and limb to acquire. Tell me, what is it your heart desires? What will assist you in your coming ventures?
Well, so back at our castle, we have some arrangements.
Wait, so back at your castle you have...
Some arrangements with one of our residents, let's say, that's trying to trade some materials. Raw materials, not like anything sketchy.
Yes,
And
nothing sketchy.
nothing
Not the way
sketchy.
you said that right now.
Mineral?
Yeah.
A materials of a mineral nature, I take it?
Yes, sir.
And would you say they were extracted deep within the crust of the world?
Very deep.
Ores and stones, that's... Well, Tento, he leans in and he says, I think that your associate and I could strike quite a few bargains in days.
Yeah, that's something I would ask her for, some favorable bargains between me and between you and my associates.
I see. So for your utility, you would ask that and to clarify, Tento, you're saying this instead of a magic item.
Yes.
He thinks that he's like, I could agree to take less of the profit margin in the initial offering. There are soon to be a series of projects to rebuild much of Cathadak. And I have it on good authority that there will be the wealth in Cathadak to pay for external goods in that proceeding. Once there's been a change of hands in the Niflheim. I could have a finger on the pulse of those contracts. I can cut your associate in, but I will need to know more about them in the coming days, but I'm assuming that you vouchsafe them as a honest business individual.
This is Kara's like, does the queen seem like an honest, sane individual to be dealing with? Any opinions on that, guys?
I mean,
Oh.
only
Yeah, she
you and Lani have met.
Ah, shit, you're right.
Out of character, she has been very generous
Yeah.
and was like half our defending force at the time.
Yeah, okay. No, you bring up.
Yeah, she fielded
Oh,
half of your army
We
for the
do
Battle
owe
of
her a
Sorjo.
very good solid. By we, I mean the two of you.
Yeah.
This is my good solid right here. Yes, I
Oh.
would say that they are very reliable and very pleasant to be with.
They also very emphasize the sustainability in the sense that they're not looking for one-time deals.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure. Young.
But
Han
one-time
also
discounts, I think
increased.
they're really fine with.
Yeah.
Oh,
They-
like that's fine, but like I meant like they're not looking for just one trade.
Yeah.
They're looking
Yeah.
for like a partnership.
Yeah, well, I mean, Yan
That's,
Lan,
that's for a young Lon to
re-
decide,
rebuilding
not for me.
Cathadak, Yan Lan
Yeah.
would let you know, is going to be a ongoing arrangement, and even after that, if they got ore at a reasonable enough rate, that could supplant some of the raw material needs that have presently been met by doing some very unsafe mining to basically strip the land. You might note that most of the rivers you
That
come
might
across are
piss through
blighted.
druids.
Yeah, and lots of the woods are decimated because there has been
And all the
rampant,
druids are pissed.
rampant stripping of the land around here.
That is, yeah. I just tell them, so yeah, they'll be very pleasant to deal with. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
He nods. I'm like, well, details forthcoming, obviously, but I will arrange a most favorable contract with them on your behalf and let them know that it is thanks to your benevolence.
My benevolence.
Indeed. He looks at Lonnie and he says, and what would you be seeking?
I'm also interested in one of the items that we borrowed in our fight against the changeling. That little snake statue.
Ah, yes. I'm familiar
Although
with the item.
we are also forgetting someone else who was important in securing the chair. And Lonnie looks at Medley.
And
Was she?
Yanlan looks at Medley
I actually
and
checking she was.
looks at you and thinks about it and says, indeed, you could provide an item of great instrumentality to Medley. I would point out that I have furnished Medley with a solution which is helping their flame. Perhaps I could continue to do so on a recurring basis and help build towards a solution as Medley's just recompense.
Yeah, Lonnie nods because that was totally what she was going for.
Indeed. He nods. Yeah, so the Hurricane Harness, the Typhoon Spheres, Longe, not taking that. The Sun. Oh no, yeah, that is exactly what you're taking for. The Nashlange. Yeah, it is a wondrous little ivory coiled snake statuette about the height of a human head. And you can whisper, do no harm to it, and it'll crawl up on your staff. That is what Yanlan is happy to part with you for, and he would say, "Oh, and of course, it is worth noting that for some transactions, for them to be considered transactions rather than an exchange of gifts, money should change hands. In the sake of pursuing customs, I would also like to offer you all 200 gold pieces for the effort. I will be sure to spend Medley's," he gesticulates at her, "on procuring fine meats."
This is the point where
So this is 200 each, then?
Yep,
Is that what he's suggesting?
that's what he's suggesting. I'm gonna give you all what you've asked for and 200 GP apiece. We'll call that a deal. Is basically
we
Yanlan's
still
proposition.
have technically one more item because Zion is foregoing his for someone else to pick something up.
Well, not if
he-
Yanlan is accepting
might
the
be.
Timeless Scholar's interview with the Defiant Logos.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And I wanted to ask something for Darren, who stepped out. And Darren's
What's up?
back.
Yeah.
At this point, I would mention to Darren, fuck Darren, to Tento, Tento, I know you are very fond of that. Are we calling it a rifle? I can't remember.
The Dwarvis Discharger.
It's
Yeah.
basically a rifle, yeah.
I know it is, but like I can't recall what we nicknamed
do
it
we call it?
because the full name is kind of long.
Yeah.
Or
I
has
just
been.
refer to it
I
as
can't-
a rifle.
But I know you're very fond of that weapon. Yunlan, I know you have the capabilities of charging those charging that weapon. Do you
Oh, yeah.
have any ways to reproduce that capability? Not so that we have to not that we don't like you and like your store.
He thinks about it and he says,
But-
"It requires a certain set of skills and items. The items I cannot part with. The skills, some members of your party possess, and in good quantity, but other skills you lack. So it would be difficult for me to recreate that capacity, although I would be happy to re-up you as a gift. Although in the future, I would require compensation, as there is a material cost for me."
Sounds good to me.
Well,
I'm sure.
what would it take for you to part with your tools that allow you to do this and the extra knowledge we're missing?
Yarlan looks up, thinks, and says, you would need to be offering me something of far greater value, because it is a utility which keeps on giving, I find. I would be remiss to part with it.
Oh, how about this information I got?
Oh yeah, you want to take out the research notes and be like, you throw it down. Yanlon's eyes go wide. He sees all the books. He sees all the notes. He sees all the parchments. He looks at these. He pops open a metal clasp on a journal. He starts to flip around. He's like, I see.
Zion just like
Dumps
upside
it.
down's the bag of holding, and just out comes like a scroll that just keeps falling out.
I see.
That's just what I'm envisioning right now.
This. Very good. Very good. He looks over it all and he says, well, I'll need to take it all into consideration, but he thinks about it. And he looks at some
These
of
are
the
private
notes,
notes.
pulls out
on
a
the,
diagram.
These are all private notes and all the experimentations that are cruel in nature, but what's done is done. You could learn from it, and I'll let you know there is nothing else in that laboratory. They made sure to not leave anything behind, save for what Zion was able to scavenge
This is a
before
wonder
the
that
flames
you.
got to it.
This is a wonder you've retrieved so much, but you have done very well in doing so. Yes. Now this information. I cannot part with the tools I use to recharge, because as far as I'm aware, they are irreplicable, and they are incredibly rare to come upon. It's one of my marks of pride as a dealer in the artifices of the world that I have them in my possession. However, the knowledge, Yanlon is always in favor of an exchange. You give me these notes, varied and various though they may be, and I will give you everything that I know about the recharging process. You will know how it is achieved and what you need to achieve it. That won't solve every problem for you, but you are a resourceful group.
So out of character, are we talking about like we need a power supply or something, or like are these like
He's
very
gonna-
specific
I think that's
irreplicable
something-
tools that only
I
he
think that's
can
something
do?
he's gonna
this?
tell us.
No, I mean like because like I'm sure like other people in the world can recharge this, but he just said that he has tools that are very unique and a second one may not exist.
It's not that the second one doesn't exist, it's that he's never come across a second one. He doesn't think he could replace it if he sold it. But to
Okay.
him, it's irreplaceable. He doesn't say that it's the
Okay.
only one. You could roll Arcana to have some idea of what he's talking about.
Ooh,
No.
ooh, I got this, guys.
Oh my god. Watch us lose information because like the rules so far. Oh my god.
It's magical, all right, guys.
I mean, you've never seen something that lets you put your finger in it and have a beam of light cook your
It makes
enemies.
bright lights, though. It makes hard bright lights.
You're not even really sure of what it does. It's like a weirdly shaped magic wand, maybe, but it uses glowing crystals and they stop glowing. You don't know what any of this means. You just know that it probably cost him a fortune, and there's probably not another one around based on what he's saying. Or at least he doesn't need to get another one in terms of reloading whatever is used to reload.
I just wanted to say is because he made it seem like this because of the tools. This is like a moot effort or not, and I just wanted to get an idea of that.
He's
out
not
there.
saying that you're doing it in vain, but he's also saying it's not going to be easy. Like, it's going to be its own quest.
Oh,
Side quest.
that I'm okay with.
Yeah, so do you read that exchange of information, Zion?
Sure.
It
Right,
is
you throw down the
yours to
notes,
give.
the scrolls, the books. He gathers them all up, and he produces from his own bag of holding a little library section, which he like pans through with his hand. He starts pulling out books, and he whips out a quill, and he sort of gesticulates over them, and blue and gold script glows, falls upon it, and there's a flash. And there are now 2 of these sets of books and notes. And he pushes one set towards you. and so you have gained the knowledge of divine dischargers, functionality, nature, and requirements to reload. You've gotten all that in what appear to be 3 bound volumes and an etched ornate slab,
Dang.
surrounded
Is that-
by gold and flaked marble and carved on stone in dwarvish rune.
Does that contain enough knowledge to attempt on recreating the door and discharger itself?
You would,
Or not
in
quite?
character, you're gonna need to read some books before you know that answer.
Okay.
Out of character, you've never heard of or seen a weapon like like this one, and you're guessing there's a reason that they're not around.
Mhm.
You don't know what the reason is yet.
Okay. Sorry, I know I'm asking a lot of out of game questions.
All good, all good. I mean, this is, magic item logistics involves that. Do we have to return the slab?
I don't remember what slide we're talking about.
Talking about the slab that Fault is in?
He just. No, I thought you said for Dwarf's discharge, one of the things he gave us was a slab that has Dwarvish writing on it.
You made a copy of all of those things he gave you.
Oh, I thought you just gave us like a fucking slab. I was like, okay,
Mhm.
fucking throw a rock on the table. All
No,
right.
he gave you 3 books, a bound triplicate scroll case, like 3 scrolls inside a case, and a slab.
Tento's gonna look at this like, ooh, this looks fun to read.
It is an edifying edifice.
Okay, I'm gonna also hand him the 3 clips I have, and like, I
Yeah,
do
so you
need
hand
clips.
these loads. They've got crystalline light chambers in them. It's like this metal box, these strange etchings. They're almost like a light bulb that's gone out, but they're like this like perfectly clear crystal. And Yarnlon nods and says, "Indeed, it will require some time and resources, but I will be able to refill them, and then I will give them back to you before you go. Again, this is a service I provide now for free, as a sign of our friendship and cooperation."
Of course, for now.
I appreciate it.
Indeed, well, there is a material expense I absorb every time I do it, so in the future I would ask that you offset it.
Out of curiosity, how much would it be in the future?
He thinks about it and he says, I have a favorable rate with a supplier, so about 15 gold pieces per shot.
Oh wow, I think it's four a clip. I think 4 magazines. I believe it
That's
was.
4, yeah, that's 4 to a light chamber. You got 3 light
Yeah.
chambers, so that's what, 8, 12? The 12 times 15 is how many gold pieces you'd need for a full on all 3.
Oh wow, I'm curious though. What else would that tool be used for? If like, is there something else that you use the tools used to recharge this thing or reload this thing?
He thinks about it and he said, to the best of my knowledge, no. It's an incredibly specified, ancient, and rare piece of technology. He does say technology.
Interesting. Well, I won't pry anymore. Thank you.
Well, he just gets the books. Pry into these. I believe they will have the answers you seek.
And then it's like,
Someone's
think it's
already
like,
reading.
Zion's already
Hey!
reading. One of the books is in,
We're
I'm
having
so
a conversation
excited.
right now.
one of the
We're
books
still
is
discussing.
in Joseon. The scrolls are written in common, and the slab and the 2 other books are in dwarvish.
oh well, I'll grab the one in Josie Wilson.
Yeah. It's a manual that has lots of diagrams of what look to be like series of like beams of light, but there are annotations next to them. A mix of alchemical and numeric signatures. And you're not sure what you're looking at initially, Tento, but it looks pretty complicated. And it looks like there is a series of carved or like written explanations next to everything, breaking down the details. And there's also this strange device with a large crystal hung by an arm over this like metal like holding feeler needle chamber that the individual crystals seem to be put into, and light is directed into them. And it looks like it involves like burning something in a ring around it. You're not sure initially, but it looks like there's a lot going on here.
This scrolls dude looked all the pictures. It's like, oh, these are pretty cool. I don't know what they mean, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, and Yanlan would have a hob. He's like, I can return my Bushi to the room now. He and my bodyguard can bring you the item you requested. He points to Lonnie.
Yes, I just didn't want your bodyguard to hear anything too sensitive. That's
certainly.
all.
Yeah, and the Hobgoblin Bushi goes, remember, I trust my life with in these men's hands. And he indicates in the Nashlong this statuette, this ivory statuette of a snake, is brought and placed on the table before you, Lonnie. It looks at you with an animate face and a gleaming fang.
Lonnie's gonna try to do the things to apply it, which is just a animal handling check, right?
Yep, you gotta make an animal handling roll or it'll bite you.
Just gonna
Yeah,
do
you
it
got-
while, you know.
You gotta say do no
talking.
harm to it while you hold it up.
Lonnie will do so, and watch for getting that one.
Y'all doing this in front of the person we're currently discussing deals with?
I mean, yeah, it's
It's
ours
before
already.
the deal.
Yeah. What do you? You have any?
12 of 10.
Can I? Yeah. As I see Lonnie, I'm thinking a little bit of problems. Can I give it like a? Can I give it a little scratchy, make it more okay with?
you help and you give Lonnie advantage. Roll that animal handling again.
Just a little scratch on the neck.
You
You
roll
know.
scritchy
Why is
ivory
Tentacle of all things,
statuette.
like the apparently the second best animal handler.
There you go.
And it goes with its like tiny, recently animated ivory face, and then it just Knights of the Museum casually wanders its way around your staff, curls up, and affixes itself there. You feel the
So
staff
is that a
have a
permanent
new lightness to
thing?
it. As long as it's
yeah? Well,
affixed.
fixed it. Any healing? Okay.
Yeah.
I will eventually add that to my.
Yeah, I tell Lonnie, it's like, you just gotta give them the scratch in the right spot, Lonnie. Then they become a lot more friendly.
Yeah, it coils itself out, and it's coiled tightly from stem to stern, breaking only at the branches of the awakened Eldergraft staff. Its eyes almost seem to twinkle with a knowing light.
Oh, wait, I was like, wait, Lonnie,
78.
can I name it?
I don't know if I can stop you.
That is very true.
You just
I was-
get in front of him, name it before he does.
That didn't work last time.
No, it didn't. You didn't give him a name.
I gave Medley a name, but apparently Scout here doesn't care for that.
You gotta make it stick first.
Yeah, Medley stuck. Because that's her name. No other reasons why, it's just her name.
So is that it then? We also gave. How are we gonna contact them again? Are we gonna contact? Oh wait, are we gonna contact via Danger Noodle? Is that what we said?
Yeah.
Do you say that loud?
Wait, hold on. What are you asking?
We were gonna contact the heirs with Danger Noodle, right?
I believe that was the plan.
That's what we decided on.
Yep.
Okay. Well, mine's gonna be like, I guess we should start arranging for the chair to get here then.
Wonderful.
Looks at Zion.
Can it wait a day?
Why?
Now Longhorn
Well-
raises his brows and says, well, if it is a matter of sending a message, I'm sure that we could find a way to get the ball rolling, so to speak.
Hey, we could just use a regular messenger.
You can use what?
You can just use a regular messenger.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be Danger Noodle.
But he has so few chances to shine. It's like this once in an arc, like interaction.
Wait, why the fuck do I have vials of holy water? When did I get this?
Zion gave it
them
to you when
Yeah.
Tento had the cursed eyes.
Technically, I have vials too. I think I have like one.
Yeah.
I think Zion
Oh.
gave you the rest.
Oh yeah, okay. But actually, like our character, is that it for our business with Yanlong then?
I mean, you guys
I
could like push for a little bit more than you're getting. You could offer him something else he might like. You could ask him about other things he's in possession of. You could try and like ask if there's anything else he's done. But I believe that this is the main of the business you came here to conclude with him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Might I purchase a bag of holding?
He considers it. So
Also, quick question: was it 200 gold each?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. 200 gold apiece.
Okay.
You all get 200 gold apiece, plus 200 GP apiece.
for what?
Which brings the question: we haven't been paid in a while. Are we still doing party funds?
Part of
We
the
haven't
deal.
gotten back to the party. We haven't got to the place where we keep the party funds.
That's saying give him the scythe. Yeah, so
We don't have it.
he arranges for like the coins to be brought in like nice pouches. It's all there, and you got quite a bit of glistening gold. And do you want to buy a bag of holding, Zion?
Mm-hmm.
And correct me if I'm wrong. You do have one. You just want another, right? Or am I tripping?
It is an infusion, so if I let it go, everything will spill out.
Okay, so you
So I want a permanent bag of holding.
I'm gonna permanent bag
Hearing
of
this,
holding.
Lonnie's also interested in a
much is
bag
a
of
bag of
holding,
holding?
depending on the price.
Yeah, so he says, yes, such items are certainly available. He gesticulates to his, and he thinks about it. Hold on, there's definitely a list that I'm going for. But I mean, it's going to be significant, but you're going to be able to afford it. It's also a question of supply if you wanted to buy a whole bunch of them.
Well, I was gonna offer something for that, because I still have the pendulum. But
Oh,
in
shit,
character, I
yeah.
would say, assuming that the bag of holdings in fair prices, I do have something that you might be quite interested in.
Oh.
I've shown it to you before, but I pull up the Pendulum of Fate.
Oh, yes.
So I'm not quite ready to part with this item, but I would not mind leaving it behind for you to study and research it, as I know this is a field that you've been quite interested in.
You know, as you said, certainly. I could consider.
Plus, this is another wave burner artifact that, as you said, does not come by often.
Is that really what people are pricing back?
What
Magic
is it?
item
I'm so
pricing is very
curious.
whack.
Yeah,
Like,
there's a list.
'Cause I
That
think
there's a list
people
that I
don't
like to
really just
use, but like, yeah. Normally they're just not for sale. But like, I'm seeing everything from like 500 to 5K. I'm gonna say Yanlon likes you. You've done some deals with him.
Friend
he's
discount.
he's not
setting
hurting for
bags of holding
cash.
can be really broken. So
He's got two in stock that are like in like sale stock, and he's willing to part with them for 3K each.
Wait, 3K or 300?
K.
3K each? Oh god, I don't have that much.
No,
I don't think any of us do.
I don't think our party fund had that much. So,
I think it
Spent
did
most
when
of
you
it.
first inherited the treasury.
Well, yeah, but
first,
we spent
we-
all that on upgrading the keep.
yeah.
Well, consider
getting
it,
it back up.
you could pursue sources of wealth in the land. Do you want to ask your friend Yanlon about ways to make money?
Does he have a quest for us?
I don't think we should pick up a quest here, considering we're moving away pretty far away from here.
Well,
and then heading back home.
well, he knows that you're headed. Well, I mean, do you guys say any of this at all in front of him for him to have a reason to detect?
I don't say any of that in front of him, but I do mention the pendulum of fate and
He's very
Loading
he's,
it out.
he's willing to hold on to it for you. He says he'll hold it for you, and he will study it in that time, and he'll share any of his findings in that time when you've returned, either with you or with a designated intermediary of your preference.
well, the knowledge that you gain from this is yours, but I will loan this to you at the minimum of 1 year for a bag of holding.
He thinks about it. He looks at it. He thinks about it. And he says, I will agree to these terms so long as when I return the pendulum, you return the bag. Or
Ooh.
pay for it at that time.
Ooh.
I look at the party.
that sounds
I got your foot
really
in.
And now we also owe Roshi the interest. Cool.
It's okay.
What
We
interest?
gave.
He's a fucking hermit.
Yeah, so
He knows what
he
interest
doesn't
is?
understand the concept of
I
interest.
thought
It's fine.
Roshi got an education as a
I do
Roshi
have
likes
an
to
education.
remind
What
us.
education in this world and society show mathematics and economics?
Are we
People
Well,
are living in
that-
clay
that-
huts. You think we have
that's-
economics here?
That's fair, because apparently our world doesn't exactly educate people on that either. So
Okay, we're going a little too deep with that one.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, like, banks exist, but they're not common at all, and whether or not they charge interest is up in the air, or how they arrange it. But yeah, so, not exactly something that you learn, like, when someone's like, I'm going to teach you about numbers and letters, haha, I shall school you. Yanlan gives you the stuff, you receive the stuff, you've had a great time with the stuff.
Lonnie, can I talk to you real quick? Outside.
yeah, sure. Go. Lag. Oh my god, this is so laggy right now. There we go.
You're to struggle
okay there,
your way out
Lonnie?
the door.
You struggling? You need to raise your foot and.
Look, you know, like when you
floor?
like sit down for too long and then suddenly get up.
Oh
and then,
no, yeah,
like,
she got the
you're
sleepy
I'm
legs.
Like, I don't
Ah.
want to
Roll deck save to not plant your face on the floor.
Wait, am I actually doing it?
Nah, you don't have to.
Please do it. That will bring me so much joy.
Let me see if I can pull up my deck save.
Yeah, I don't think putting more.
Oh,
You
Yeah, that seems about right.
120L catches you before you can fully plant your face into the stone and plops you down right side up.
You?
my hero.
So Lumi, I see why she never walks on her own.
She just sort of like
Damn.
flaps her lips like.
I'm just gonna reach into the bag of holding and kind of pull out the rebel blade a little bit and then stick it back in. I think maybe we can trade with this. We have really no use for it.
Damn.
You guys do know there's a strong connection with the Sorjo Keep, like Kibantro's old room, and that sword.
I-
This sword is garbage in Zion's eyes.
Damn.
I
Oh,
do.
It's
Wait, it is
imprisoning some
with-
kind of demon.
Star.
It is with the blade itself and not with like Cabancho, right? That the room had a connection with.
It was both. Well, it
That's-
was with
In-
Akechi
in
and
le-
the blade,
Unless,
and not particularly with Kibancho. Oh? What, am I wrong with that assumption?
About the room. Well, there was a. Here's what you know. There was like a place in that room that Cabancho put the blade. He chose to reside there, and he definitely had some sort of a relationship. Pat, you linked created a clip link. He he chose to reside there and spin his webs there, and he seems to have a preternatural connection to the room. I would say that, Shin, it is at your discretion how much you would have told anyone about the specific relationship you had with the room. But Kibancho did have powers powers Kibancho had before he died the first time were strengthened by that room.
That's also fair.
So the Thane of Fate, while it did have a relationship with the sword, and thus implicitly Akechi, also just had a relationship with what Kibancho could do. Whether or not you chose to share any of that information, and whether or not Lonnie would have perceived that as part of your path to being, Kibancho's path to being what he was when he died in her eyes, that's really a player call. But I'd say that's about where it stands in terms of your knowledge.
I don't think anyone's ever particularly visited Kibancho's room except Tento.
No.
Tento's the only one who's ever been in my room, I think, besides me and Morelos at one point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right now in
Around in
Lonnie,
that room.
right now in Lonnie's eyes, Kibancho had a patron. Kibancho also had a catchy, so it could be either one of those things. But otherwise, but yeah, it is a hunk of metal that she definitely doesn't want to be buried with Kibancho, so it's not even useful for that. So
Buried in some other box for some other adventure to find. He's like, oh, this is my old sword, and the arc goes over again.
well, Lonnie's gonna say it is. I guess it is rather useless to us now, but I also am not sure if he would find it useful either. I think-
always try.
We can. Just a temple might find more use of this.
You would know. You did find this weapon was found on a shrine that seemed dedicated to
Yeah.
it.
Also, it belonged to a saint, so and we did meet some people before we met you who might have more sentimental value for it.
Well, I'm asking.
I was like,
you
what is this
because,
sentimental you speak of?
It is not mine to give.
I don't think Yamon is the one that should have this.
All right. I will look at the mango. And,
No,
Is this the moment we part with the mango?
What's the
Don't
mango
you
up to at this point?
dare.
What's the mango
Plus
up
4
to?
mango.
The
It's a
plus
+5
4 mango.
mango
It
right
glistens. There's almost
it's
an
a
additional
+5.
dimension to it
Wait, it's a
beyond
plus
that
5?
it's a
of
+5
the
mango.
normally
yeah.
observed universe. There's
It is
truly, there's
You do
truly
know-
something exceptional about the nature of the. It almost seems to transcend time. This mango at this point.
Its mere presence could
You
deceive
do
hearts.
know that mango is going to outstrip us in levels, right?
Yes, I know.
It will be the most powerful artifact.
Oh god, not again. There's a DTGA for the mango.
I knew that was coming.
The mango. The mango almost seems to glisten in your eyes, and though upon physical examination,
Save the
Appears
mango from
no
being pawned
different.
off.
it would appear to be a +6 mango at this time.
So, like,
It
at
just
what
keeps
point do we get like
growing.
diminishing returns on Dangerous to Go loans for this mango?
I
Like,
mean,
eventually, I'm feeling like we're gonna need like 10 of them to like plus
Pat,
up it.
Pat has given a Dangerous to Go loan to the one bearing the mango. Zion, as you consider it and you look in your bag of holding, you see a bit of
Mango.
broken automaton that you have already like studied for everything to know about it. That was like embedded in the shoulders of one of the Red Iron warriors that you scrapped. And it occurs to you that you might be able to look at a baby mango pat. Oh my god. The mango family, the mango clan. I can't. So you've got yeah, you've got a little bit of like a Red Iron warrior pauldron you think you might be able to liquidate here or break down for something else later at your preference.
Alright. I mean, I do have like 2,000 gold.
I have.
Oh
So,
yeah,
yeah.
Zion just finds pocket change everywhere.
Yeah, I'll walk back inside.
I have like 100. No, sorry, I have 1,200. I have 1,300 gold. I have more than I
Jeez.
thought. What's the fucking G's coming from you?
50.
What do you mean G's?
Jeez. Yeah, I'll start taking some stuff out of my bag. Arkan Psychova's book.
Yeah, so you take out the Arcane Psychova, you almost feel a thrum inside your soul crystal and your head case as you touch this magical tome, which seems to thrum certain knowing. It is a tome of spell.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna like offer it?
Yeah, I'll ask, how much can I trade for this?
He looks at that, and he says, "A tome of magic. That is a copy of the Arcane Psychova. I can tell." Yes. This book is exceptional, and though some who have sought its knowledge have come to regret it, it is a hot commodity. A younger me might have been tempted to learn what it has within. But he sucks in, he thinks about it, he says, I would purchase it. I'll purchase it from you. I'll purchase it from you for 1,700 gold.
Jeez.
Alright.
With his
And-
spellbooks, man.
That sounds like a lot.
Expensive.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna throw that cash down? Or you want him to throw that cash down for the book?
I will throw the book down and some gold for a bag of holding.
He's gonna throw it.
Unless
Okay,
he
wait.
likes wine.
Okay, so you wanna
Oh,
wait, so you want to give so you're proposing that you give
A
it to
trade.
him and rather
Yeah.
than you're saying you'll make up the rest of the money to reach 3 grand. So
Mhm.
you'll make up like what 8, 9, 10, 1.3k to and the book in return for a bag of holding.
Yeah.
He finds it's an amicable trade. I'm happy to do business with you. I'm so glad that we enjoy one another's friendship. And he takes the book. He doesn't put his hand directly on it. He like shuffles it around with like a little shuffleboard scooter, scoots it into his own bag of holding, and opens up his wallet. Has the Hobgoblin Bushi open up a tray of just gold bars, and and like gold coins, and they sort it out. They sort the cash, and Yanlan says, "A pleasure doing business with you," as he hands you a bag of holding. And Orochi, do you also want to still do the loaner deal?
Well, if Lonnie's still looking for one.
Yeah, he's happy to do
Unless
the
Lonnie can produce, 3,000 gold out of her ass. Like Zion can.
oh yeah! Hey, look at that! I just remembered.
So 3,000 gold, would a pile of that fit within a 5x5 square, and how likely is he to see through a minor illusion spell?
Yeah, you don't think the magic merchant gets minor illusioned, and you don't think that works.
I know. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
Those are like, Lonnie, how badly do you want that bag?
Lonnie looks at like everything that's on hers, including like two stone freaking tablets. Is like, and how much her back has been hurting. It's like, it's
Your
fine.
bag.
Tinto like takes
excuse
out his
Tinto
money.
has like so many weapons sticking out of him.
Yeah, I was like, okay, Yanlan. He pulls out. Let me look at this real quick. He pulls out 1,200 gold.
What,
Alchemist Angler.
1,200 gold?
Yes, I have 1,200 gold. An Alchemist Angler. Auger, sorry. And he's gonna pull out a book of the book of the voice, the Bard book.
Oh.
Oh shit.
So you whip out so you're whipping out gold. You're whipping out the blue book. You whipping out anything else?
Oh.
I think I gave Zion the white mask of his spirit to escape, so no, that's it.
And so that's what you're going to try and you're showing that to Yanlan.
Yeah.
Lonnie
looks
is
at-
also
looks
going
at-
to pull
looks at
out the
intrigued.
3 special hazard attires.
Ooh, he looks at those. Looks at those and
I
he's
think
like,
that's-
and he evaluates them. He says, "I'd say these are worth 200 gold apiece."
That's more than I thought.
And he looks at the book and he says, "What's that?" And he gesticulates to say, "Come hither."
Hand in the book. It's a book of the voice, as I found out. It's something. It's something that bards use. Starting bards use.
He looks at it. He opens it up, and he's like, "Yes." Although it is rare for one to have access to it. Yeah, and you see revalues to 1,030 as it becomes the 10:30 break. Thank you all for coming out. We'll be back at 10:41 p.m. Eastern because that's what already happened. It's take more than 1 minute to change it.
I was just holding on to that message, waiting for it to be 10:30 so I can push that in.
Yeah, so yeah, we're still doing some business. Hopefully, we'll conclude the business shortly after we get back.
Alright. See you guys when we come back.
I've been dreaming Leland Christmas. Mm-hmm. Y'all going through your inventories like, now what can I offload?
Basically.
I was like to point out that I wanted to keep that book, but it's
Well,
okay.
well, I mean, yeah, he hasn't made you an offer on it even yet. He hasn't even checked it out.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how much the book is worth to him. What if I just send him Pulse tablet? I'm sure nothing bad will happen with that, right?
Yeah, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Well, if it isn't 10:41 p.m. Eastern, I wonder if we would turn in with a 10-minute break on a higher if it was actually 11 minutes tonight. Ho 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 ho! Ho 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 ho! Hee 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 hee! Ha 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 ha! Ho ho
Are
ho
you
ho
okay,
ho! I'm having a stroke! No, I'm not.
Okay, just want to make sure.
I don't know why I felt compelled to do it.
You know.
Sorry. Anyway.
Honestly, that's like normal at this point, right, guys?
Having a stroke? Yeah, totally.
Oh no, that's not what I was saying.
That's what I said. What are you talking
If,
about? That's
if I'd stayed on the road, get it, she maybe.
I was so confused when you said that. I was like, yeah, that's probably yes, having a stroke. Yeah, that's normal, right?
That's not what I was getting at.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure that's not what I was trying to say.
I don't know, man. It sounded like you did try to say that. Too good.
So, you are gathered with Jan Lan, and you whip out this book. He looks at it. You tell him what it is. He takes a look. He looks inside. He sees the symbols floating, and he blinks, and he says, looks at you. He looks at the book. He looks at you. He looks at the book. He says, this is quite the find. The bards who have these are normally very reluctant to part with them.
Well, I found this at the eye, so
I suspect they did not part with it willingly.
probably not. It's a pretty good guess.
He thinks about it. He looks it over and he says, there's no identifying marks to indicate provenance of it. If this was of, say, the Jumaki battle bards, I would expect their sigil upon it. And he twists it around and he says, he shrugs, he says, this item is of great value. Tell me, what would you ask in return?
Bag of holding.
He nods and he thinks about it, and So yeah, and he gives you a bag of holding for the book. I mean,
Wait,
it's
just for the book?
Tento just sort of sighs there. It's like, that's probably more than a fucking bag of holding. It's fine. It's fine.
Scout, you really don't have to.
It's fine, Lonnie. Here. And I hand the bag of holding to her. It's like,
Yanlon's
it's
like,
fine.
well, Roshi, it should seem that I have been quite bought out of available bag of holdings, but I would still be interested in holding on to that item of yours if there's anything else.
Before that, do you want to give Tento a better deal, or is that a concluded transaction?
He says, I mean, I think that these are two valuable magical items. It's hard. I think that I will have greater utility from this book than Tento will have greater utility from that bag of holding than either of us would have had holding onto these items. That being said, the book is pretty useful in most situations.
Or she's just gonna give a long sigh and like, okay. Well, that's his own volition. So,
All right, so he's like he thinks about it and he's like, I could perhaps add additional compensation of currency. Next, if you would be interested in lending me your pendulum for a year.
Is it like rent?
basically,
just paying
I'm
rent
I'm
for that.
renting this thing out. I don't have a strong care for the common bartering tool, the coins.
Is there anything else that interests you at this time? I am a man of much knowledge and many items acquired.
Out of character, I don't have a particular magic item in mind, but I don't. Sorry, in character, I don't mind leaving this artifact with you to research and learn from for another favor. But I think this is worth 2 favors.
I think so, and he says,
Ooh.
favors can be such a hard thing to qualify. I understand owing a man 1 favor. But owing a man 3 favors is a complicated consideration.
How about this? You can reject my favor, and I have faith that you would be fair in the value of these favors.
Thinks about it. Thinks about the
I will not
pendulum.
hold these favors against you.
Thinks about the items, and he says, very well then. 3 favors, the pendulum in my possession, for at least a year. And he's like, sound good?
Sorry, I was taking a sip. Well, it sounds like a deal to me. And I will take that off my inventory. Before we part with it, did you need I mean, I've showed you this once before. Did you need a demonstration on its use and
I would
the
be
cost on the user?
I would be fascinated in observing its utilization.
Yes, unless we're finished with discussions, we can, I'll be sure to show you before we leave.
Yeah, and Yanlon looks around as if it would say, like, you know, anything else, any other. We'll hold on to these suits. Yeah, if he's.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry about that.
So you got the hazard
I
suits.
forgot you brought that up.
And 200 apiece does not sound like an appetizing offer to you. So you're like, nah.
Do we ever figure out what they're actually resistant to?
I think you
Yeah, I
got
think that we did.
fire, poison, and one other, don't you? Am I tripping?
I thought we did.
It was fire, poison. Was it acid? No, I had the acid gloves.
Fire, poison, maybe cold.
Black with blue stripes, black with red stripes, and white with green stripes.
White with green is poison. Black with red is fire. And you said black with blue is the first one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is a cold resistance.
Okay. I'll be right back. It kind of smells like something's burning, but I also want to
Oh.
ask him what the remnant of the staff can make.
Okay, make sure it's
it was
not.
this kind of
Make sure it's not burning.
Make sure
Yeah, no,
nothing's
no,
on
we'll
fire.
deal with that.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this later.
It kind of smells like something's burning. Okay, that's a. You know what? We can wait.
Hey, Yanlon. No. Lonnie had
Burning
this
smells like.
staff from one of my cellmates from Brass Eye Citadel. It may be in pieces right now, but they are components to a pretty strong staff. How much are you willing to? How much do you think the value of these pieces are?
He considers them. He looks at them. He kind of shrugs and says, "They are a curiosity, but I confess I'm not familiar with. I mean, I could examine them more closely." And he kind of like circles his hand and he's like, there's like a blue sigil that originates. He's curious enough, and there's sort of a discharge of magic that sort of glows out over it. He thinks, and he says, "These are worthy of some consideration."
I'm now confused where the smell is coming from, but okay.
You sure you don't want to, take some extra time to figure that out?
You're free to investigate that.
So I think I know where it's coming from, and I double checked the thing, and it's off. So it might just be like it burned, and now the smell is spreading, but it's not
Lingering.
actively burning.
That's good
I mean,
to know. Are you sure?
as long as your place isn't burning down. Just wanted to make sure that's priority one.
I don't smell it anymore as well. So, anyways,
Yeah.
what does this? What can this make? Lonnie will say like this isn't necessarily up to offer, but like
Oh.
I just want to first see if this is something of use to
Oh.
us.
Yeah. Who the hell said that? Oh.
It's like the exact opposite.
Wait, what?
I asked what the value of these objects were. They're in pieces, but they were a powerful staff at one point. I asked them what the value of these things were.
He's
Okay.
cast a spell. He's cast a spell over them. He thinks about it. He says, "This
Oh
item,
god, who said that?
this item is
It's Elderwood, if that helps. I
indeed.
have Elderwood and the skull of an animal that died violently, int plus if attuned, but will be more irritable. It's a crafting material, but it is.
And do you have
Bro,
do you have like the broken skull too?
I actually don't
How
think
about
I
I
would have
break it?
taken that. So I guess I will cross that out. So yeah, I guess I just have the Elderwood shards.
He says, "I believe there was once a focusing element, a skull, perhaps, or some other body part."
Yes, although it
Oh.
did make this
I
rather.
regret-
I broke that.
I regret to inform you that without that piece, the value of this is greatly diminished. They're a curiosity for research more than anything without a proper focus, and this sort of a magic item is less crafted and more coincidental, if you understand my meaning.
So these shards can't be made into anything else then?
They can. They can. Require someone of great craft and serious arcane ingenuity, but there's a potency in them.
I look at Zion.
Zion looks at his
Yeah.
books.
Tell me, do you wish to? I could compensate you for this item in some amount of currency of the realm, or perhaps you don't seek to part with them at all, but are merely trying to discover potential uses you might have for them.
Lonnie looks at Zion and see if there was any interest, although it seems like no, since Zion's eyes are glued to books.
Zion's still reading.
Zion, you don't care about the broke stick?
Not really.
Nah, it's a stick.
No, not at all. Actually.
Yeah,
That's
Lon
wood.
thinks-
He works with metal.
So, all I remember was that it did intelligence based stuff. So I didn't. So you would be the one to benefit the most from it, because we all dumb.
Yanlon,
We all do.
Cursed.
Yanlon says this item could be refined into something still usable. It could be. It's not going to exist as a singular staff anymore, but I could see several ways it could be incorporated into items. Is not worthless. I would say for these bits of broken staff, workmanship required. Well, 150 gold.
Well, you
Yes.
would have a better idea of what to do with it than we would.
Certainly, and
And unless someone has objections, I am selling this for 150.
I'm like, eh.
Tento, are you
Seriously, though.
Tento, you watching this interaction very closely?
Yeah, sure.
You notice a little bit of the whitening of the knuckles as Yanlon has his fingers out as he gives you that number.
Ooh, interesting. I was like, well, Lonnie. Actually, I
Well-
could probably find some use for that. You know, the wood. It's like Young Lon said. I'm sure I could find someone to make this into something more useful than a pile of.
Indeed, although it
Sticks.
would be a great endeavor and it'd be labor costs.
You know,
Well-
yeah, you're right. It would probably be a lot of labor. I like a good challenge.
And he's like, perhaps for 200 gold, you might not find it worth the endeavor.
I don't know. It's-
Lonnie now finds it a little suspicious that he's like trying to haggle, like trying to like upping the bargain too.
Yeah, it's I don't
So-
know. After this after the rebellion, I'm gonna have a lot of time on my hand. And it's just another fun project for me to do.
Indeed.
Oh, projects. I like projects.
Yeah,
Oh,
see,
He
even
looks up from his
Zion-
book.
And I go back to looking at.
Yanlon doesn't seem to be reaching higher than 200 unless you really want to try and entice him. You could give
I'm actually curious what we could do with this thing. So I actually do
Oh,
want to keep
Yeah,
it.
Lonnie's just gonna give it to Tento then because she has no use for it. So that's the info I have on it, and I'm literally gonna delete it from my inventory now.
Okay.
There, that means
So-
add it to yours.
Yeah, that means
Yeah.
yeah.
Just make sure you're picking up what she's putting down.
I don't have the stuff.
This is how we lose magic items, guys. Well, I guess this one's
I
not
don't
technically
have
magic
a
items.
fault
So we haven't
tablet.
lost any magic items yet, so
We've misplaced a
I mean,
few.
We've totally not distributed Kabansha stuff still.
Yeah, so
We don't
Magic
have the
ball.
totem against troubles.
with this,
uh,
have you guys now finished all of your interactions with Yanlon in terms of selling him stuff?
I
Yeah.
think so.
unless you want some rotted animal parts, because I still have those.
No, he's not super into
I was
that.
looking, I was like, why do you have that?
Because we gathered it, but I don't think we ever actually preserved it properly.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Why did you keep it?
Because they are rare animal parts, and usually we collect it because we don't want it to go to waste, but also usually we have facilities and means of preserving it properly.
Alright,
Okay.
DKGA for the rotted animal parts.
Alright,
So
guys.
what,
So-
Come on.
what animal parts are these again?
Yeah, so I have a Ferris Orivore eyes. I have a pair of Ferris Orivore eyes. I also have a King Koishwar dented spleen. So unless you think that they're still good from the beginning towards the beginning of our
Well.
adventure, I'm going to toss them.
Well, so you look at them, right?
Uh-huh.
And what you note about the Ferris Orivore eyes is so they've gone dry, right? And they've firmed up, and they're almost like the stalks and shulks are like dried out, but it's almost like something like wood petrification has undergone them. And you know that they're just like dried in like a writhed up fig with like red all over, and it looks like they've almost degraded to the point of being like two hunks of iron with a strange attachment to them.
Okay, so those are still somehow not gone bad. What?
Well, it's
this
gone
is
bad.
explain.
You can't use them
Real
as
question,
eyes
are they a
anymore.
+1 hunk of iron?
Tento's
no,
just
but
gonna poke at the eyes like, why
you
is
know
it
that
like
the
this?
eyes do seem Zion. The iron in them does seem to have qualities you consider desirable, or that you consider similar to the red iron.
Hmm.
There's something about the fact that this iron has lived that makes it different.
Look, it's not technically rotted, so I guess Lonnie will keep it. Is the spleen rotted yet?
Here's the Koishware are stone elemental entities.
Okay,
So
cool.
the spleen, again, the meaty bits have all rotted away, but like inside the
Maybe only
dented
the-
spleen, you see that it's sifted through what appears to be like, it looks like black yet silvery, kind of like glinting, or you don't quite identify it, but Ento, you know about identifying. Well, actually, Lonnie, you both have a chance. Honestly, both of you roll nature. Everyone who looks at roll nature.
I will also say there's also two things in the bag of holding that probably aren't good anymore.
I rolled a
Nature.
13.
Lonnie looks funky. Tento, you think that is partially lead. Zion, maybe you should make a pencil out of it.
At least Lionel's not trying to feed it to us.
Does Orochi want to whip out the hermit lore on this?
Looks edible.
I'm afraid to at this point.
edible. I will also say we actually have stripped
Yeah,
from
the best
Orivore.
roll.
We also have stripped Orivore meat, 2 pounds of it in the bag of holding, and
Yeah, the
metal
meat's gone
Why
bad.
do we have 2 pounds of that?
And
I didn't know we had
it's
that. Would
even though there's like no air. Does that help it any?
No,
there's a good
actually,
reason
should
through
food
that.
go bad in a bag of holding? It's a vacuum. Well,
So
yeah,
things
things
can
can't
go wrong without
live.
air.
Things can't live in a bag of holding, right? They die.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean bacteria can't live in a bag of holding?
This seems
I mean, is that not why people vacuum seal stuff?
to keep it fresh longer?
It can
Yes.
still. I don't think it's an infinite fresh keeper. You killed Orivore's Is this like all the way? No, because you wouldn't have known
I know,
Zion.
I did not.
Tento's just gonna. Tento's just
For
gonna
the
look at him like,
overview,
why do
I'm
you
sure
have this
we've
in your
eaten it
bag?
already.
Like, how do we
Yeah.
not
Forgoed a
eat
lot of
this?
travel food costs.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
probably ate that shit, or maybe you haven't. I don't know if you would have kept these
Look at it.
aside.
Okay, and we
Uh,
also have 12 pounds of metal slag that I also don't remember where it's from.
Orochi, you identify this as galena. It is a mineral that is a ore composing both lead and silver. And you know that if you separated them, you would have a good bit of lead, which has a few uses, and you'd also have silver, which is just intrinsically valuable in your society.
If anyone mentions that both of them are like now metal, Lonnie's just gonna give them to Zion.
Yeah, or as you wouldn't like. Lonnie, I noticed you don't ever keep anything of the mineral kind. I'm surprised you haven't let that go.
I
Thing's made out of lead and silver.
didn't
Lonnie.
realize.
As a matter of fact, so like,
Tento just looks over. Is like, Lonnie, I thought I was a hoarder. What are you doing?
okay, you also
I
would
don't
know.
hoard weapons.
So this belongs to the Koishware, right? Like a king Koishware.
Yes.
Okay. Koenig. You would note that there is what appears to be like dried Koishware bile inside the old dented liver.
It's a spleen, if that makes a difference.
Spleen, excuse me.
I don't know animal parts. I don't know if it actually makes a difference.
It doesn't have bile in it, I don't think. The baz bees are fists. You don't find bile, nix that. But you do think that the lower remnants of the King Koishware's dented spleen could still be used for some sort of purgative. So if you needed to make like a low quality cure disease potion, you might be able to.
Yep, those are definitely going to Zion. I think Zion has the alchemy stuff.
Yeah, they'd get a good. But yeah, so basically you've got some King Koishware, petrified white blood cells that you could maybe like, slag down into something and throw it in your body.
Like Zion's reading, you just open his bag of holding, just dump all the stuff in
case
there.
in case you wanted
They're your problem now, Zion.
in case you wanted a rock lobster inside of you. Alright, so
Wait,
things
can we
change
have a rock
hand.
lobster pet?
Okay, now I think that's anything that is anything remotely
And are
valuable.
you keeping Medley? Are you leaving Medley with Jan Lon for a while to feed and like take care of and do stomach things?
Oh, Lonnie will ask Medley and Yanlon if like her staying here will help. Well, like if he could like start on helping her with her fire breathing problem, and if she could stay here.
Yes. So Yanlon's like willing to like help out. She likes the fact that Yanlon has thus far helped her. Yeah, Medley has a very cute roar. Yanlon and Medley seem fine with one another, and like this would be an amicable arrangement because they're both getting something out of it.
Okay. Yeah, and so I guess we'll return on our way back home and see where to go from there.
Yeah, so Yanlon thinks that the last thing to do is Oroshi's demonstration. You guys are good to go.
Yeah.
Can't believe that took like 1.5 whole hours. Actually, no, more than that.
Alright, so
Yeah, a lot to discuss.
you demonstrate the pendulum. Orochi, how do you influence the going of events?
So, do you want me to like post the text of it again?
Yeah. But like, how are you using this as you whip
So-
out the pendulum and swimming it?
I'm gonna use it twice today.
Oh.
I'm gonna use the first use as the first thing is once per day I may divine the most significant tug of fate within your region. So, more or less, I'm trying to figure out before I part with this, what direction should we go? What's the most significant thing that we should be heading towards?
Most significant tug of fate appears to be centered around Cathator,
Yeah, seems fair.
the
seems
capital
fair.
in the east, and it feels like it's two forces tugging away, and it almost is ripping open a path for one of them.
And the second swing, showing him like the exact amount of cost that it's taxing on me. But the second swing is, I guess, for our safe travel. Or sorry, no. Let me rephrase that, or let me change that. Let's do it for the safe travel of the chair.
Oh. Nods. It's like fascinating. He's taking notes as the pendulum swings back and forth. Fine jeweled pendulum. He's like, I see. Capacity for these powers to move through you makes you uniquely suited to wield it. Thinking. Well, I thank you for this. And so are you leaving with him? Or not?
Yes, I'm leaving with him.
Leaving with him. And he's like, thank you. I will be a good custodian of this item. And with that said and done, Yanlon is happy to receive you guys for a time. and you can like crash his place or not at your preference. I believe you arrived in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think so
So
too.
you guys break bread, you do business. It's like midday-ish by now. What is you guys got any burning activities you want to tend to in town? Or are you peacing
Mundane
out?
item shopping. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean we can assume
No.
that anything that's just like casual you could buy between sessions or off screen. But anything else you guys really want to do in this town?
Are there any potions in town? Because I think we're like all out of potions.
Yeah, I mean Rizzi was the place to buy them. There's
Oh,
there's
I
merchants.
can't hear anymore. What?
Uh-oh.
Wait,
Can't
can you
hear
not
me.
hear Lee?
Oh,
right
there
now?
we go. Okay, no, I accidentally hit the mute button on the. Yeah.
No, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Potions, because we are all out of potions at this point.
Yeah, sure. What I mean, there's merchants all over. What kind of potions you out for?
Healing potions
It's
for
smelling salts.
them.
All right, so you want potions of healing?
Potions of healing is smelling salts would also be kind of helpful.
All right,
Do
so
we not have any more of those?
No, I think I literally used the last one last time.
look,
Oh.
smelling
I just
salts
everything I had.
due to the war, right? Smelling salts are in high demand. They're 10 GP a pop right now. A potion of healing again due to increased demand from the war, 70 GP a pop, and a potion of greater healing. A greater healing is 500 GP a pop, and again, these prices are inflated due to the war.
What are their stocks though?
They can probably sell you as much as you can afford to buy, unless you can like buy 100. I mean, yeah. So like the other merchants in town and alchemists in this in the Tower District are open for business. You want to go to one of them and be like, I want to clear you out of potions.
Well, let's see. How many party members do we have? We have 4 and then 5 with me. Yeah, Lonnie will get 5 smelling salts, I guess. So actually, she'll get 3 smelling salts.
All right. Boom, done. You've obtained them.
And Richard's buying 2 smelling salts.
And you're all just buying smelling salts for like fucking potion.
Potions are 500.
Well,
wait.
No,
potions
the,
of
the
healing.
greater healing potions.
Oh.
What's the
Oh,
stats for greater healing again?
Greater is
Lesser healing,
4d4 plus 4. The regular is 2d4. I once gave you something called a lesser because I didn't realize that that's not a thing in 5e. I'm pretty sure
Healing potion
regular
is the lesser healing.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just the the POH is 2d4 plus 2, and the POGH is 4d4 plus 4. So you take your preference. But for 70 GP a pop, you can buy, yeah. All right, yeah. So you guys buy a lot of salts, buy some potions. The person selling them to you is an elf of, indeterminate years, and they say, "I thank you for your custom."
Tent,
business in the business
Darren,
box.
have you restocked on rope yet? I remember that was an issue at some point.
Oh yeah. Should probably stock on some rope. That's a good idea.
And I have a damage climbing kit. Is it like it just needs replacement parts, or is it
Yeah.
like the whole thing is done and the whole thing is damaged? And I need to just straight
No,
buy a new one.
it needs replacement parts. How much is it? For 25% of its cost, rounded down, you can get it repaired.
All right. How much is a climbing kit? Climbing kit. D&D 5e. How much is it?
Yeah. Is there? So you guys, you walking around town, you start doing some business, start doing some customs, start doing some trade. You start liquidating some goods. You start moving some goods.
170. So,
Farmers
You
gives
said 25. You said a fourth of the cost, right?
Yeah. Fourth rounded down. 25%. Yep.
It's 25 GP. Why could be a nice clean number? I guess 24 divided, so like 6 gold. That sound good?
Yeah. Well, technically speaking, I mean, gold can be broken down into silver, so you could say it's 6 gold, 5 silver if you wanted, or you could round up. Your preference.
I would rather pay the 7 gold.
Okay, pay 7 gold.
6, so I have 2 climbing kits again.
Yeah, so the elf says, thank you for coming to my store. I see you're stocking up and selling some potions. Do come by if you find anything intriguing in your travels.
ooh, you also buy things. Cool. Good to know.
Of course. I do love doing business. I mean, you guys do some business. You liquidate some goods. You buy some
How
potions.
hard are tablets of spells to come by anyways? I'm curious.
Not the most more rare than scrolls that only people who have the spell on their list can cast. Yeah, Pat asked who's puppy. Who's pupper?
Is there any store like that here?
Yeah, you can find people who will sell you spell tablets. What kind of spell tablet do you want?
Is there a tablet of Revivify?
Is there a
The iPad can.
is there a scroll? Is there a scroll for Revivify?
Is there a scroll for Revivify? None of the merchants are selling it, but if you ask around, they say that the temple will part with such a thing for money, for a donation.
Of course, donations, of course.
What about Beacon of Hope?
What level spell is Beacon of Hope?
Third as well.
So for either of those, they would normally ask for a donation of 300 gold, but given that you are upstanding members of the community who have done a great service, a donation of 200 gold would be appropriate. And they will scribe you the spell.
Wow. Such a
What a clinky dink. We just got 200 gold each.
And general question about scrolls. One, they don't expend the spell slot, correct?
Nope.
Like it's just like a free. Okay.
It's
And then
just
2,
one use, burned, gone.
is it have to be on your spell list or that you are able to learn it?
That's an interesting distinction. I think it has to be on your list, but I don't know that for a fact, and I can look it up.
In general, if it's within your class's spell list, you're able to use it. Not like for prepared casters, it does not have to be a spell that you prepared for the day or anything like that.
Well, yeah, but I am pulling from a prepared spellcaster's list, but I am a learned caster, or however else you'd like to distinct it. That's why I'm wondering, because clerics have a lot of spells. Just
Yeah, like let's say you
I
have
don't have a
cleric
lot of
spell
spells.
list. In general, for scrolls, if it's within the cleric spell list and you are a cleric, you can
Actually, hold on. Let me clarify. The wording
is it not?
here. The wording here is if a spell is on your class's spell list, you can cast it. So
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think it's on your class's spell list. Yeah.
yeah, so I can actually pull off stuff from that's not on my spell.
Sure.
That's
Someone
not
here,
learned.
someone at this temple needs to know it. And I'll tell you right now, there's only one person who's capable of level 3 spells, and the overseer of this temple is, doesn't have infinite time to scribe scrolls, but they're willing to do it for the donation. And they keep some on hand.
Scrolls are also useful because you could cast spells that you're not the level of casting yet.
Sure.
How much would it be for a first level spell? Because I'm a little interested in purify food and drink, considering where we are.
Yeah, sure. The cost for that, again, given like who you are to the community, 50 GP. Sorry, woo, no, it is not 300 more. 50 GP.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only. That's the only one. Unless we think we're gonna be interrogating someone, that's really the only one I care for. So yeah, I'll
Sure.
reluctantly make a donation of 50 GP.
Why reluctantly?
You drop it in the box, and they say, "Thank you for your donation. This will go to help sustain the temple and our operation of the hot springs." And yeah, someone comes out,
Purify
hands you a scroll.
food and water. Scroll. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So,
And one of these days, this will come in clutch. But until then,
and does anybody want a spell tablet? And if so, of what spell?
the tablet does not have to be on your spell list. So.
No, it does not. Anybody can just crack that shit. They, generally speaking, cost more than a scroll. They're not as easy to make. They take a bit of text time.
I can't think of any spells.
Zion out here with the good points. The good points.
So it's not as much about
Damn.
it's not much about keeping it. It's more about like actively like using it. Like Lonnie wasn't like already doesn't really like money transactions. So like she will for sure not haggle. She would rather barter than exchange money, but also she realizes that like she's not gonna get anywhere with just bartering.
That's what you think.
As a hermit, he knows. Next to nothing, but it's fine. We just
I mean, Lonnie was essentially like a hermit, but then had to acclimate to society. So
By joining an adventuring party that roams and doesn't really settle down in civilization?
it's
Very
more
acclimated.
like it's more like instead of druid laws, she has to deal with like normal people laws, and normal people laws usually dictates that you need to do gold transactions at some point.
All right. Where to next?
Yeah, the world is your oyster. Are you guys gonna hang out in Rosio any longer, or are you peacing out? The army's at the front. The goods are on the way.
What time is it?
In like the world, it's like midday.
I think we should get a head start and start heading to.
Oh,
gonna head
we
again?
were.
Oh,
Well-
Well, we figured out exactly how we're letting the heirs of Oso know
I
that their
presume Yanlon
destination.
took care of it because
Yanlon
Yanlon offered.
Yanlon has access to scan speakers who can send like the message cantrip and use like a net and like people who can run like physical notes, and the heirs of Oso are around and they keep in contact with each other, so he can get the message and you guys. Presumably, one of you, sends a notarized letter, unless you told him to only accept like a danger noodle dropped letter.
No, it'll
So-
be the case.
I think like once if we head back to the army, I'm pretty sure we're just gonna head off to meet with Koza. So there were a couple points of interest for other people, for like individuals. Do you guys want to hit those before we? Because I think like if I am reading this correctly, we are kind of about to leave the area if we
So Cathator is 70 miles from your army at the moment.
Jeez. Yeah.
And you could come along the western road and come to block off Cathator from the west along one of the 4 roads in.
It's like that is like our end goal. Is there any loose ends people want to wrap up before?
Well, my loose end fucked off to another province, so
And not as
I really
Orochi.
can't. Huh?
Unless y'all would honor Kabancha's request.
Nope.
If any
I
of you remember
think-
Kabancha's request.
I think Kabancha made it sound like it could be something that was handled after words, though. If I remember
Well, it
correctly.
was after, but it was not after Cathator.
What was
He
his
said after
request?
Ash Pit.
The spider killer or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so you know that there is
The raiders from the mountains.
there
to
are
the west.
there are raiders in the mountains and the hills to the west who have been striking out. Who have been attacking. In fact, you do hear news that there has been an attack on Wallbridge, and there was a bit of a raid, and the western half is burned a bit. And the Wallbridge is just
Well-
south of the Old Bailey, right here.
Okay.
Well. if
What was the
that is
Gorge
something that
School
we're supposed
again?
to-
The Gorge School
That
is a
was
place
my
that
thing.
Tento
Tento's-
has been. Dento knows there's more loot there. He just acquired some other things. So there's a whole dungeon to
Yeah,
be gone
Ten-
through there, and if you
Tento's-
were to connect the Gorge School, you could use it as an alternate way of moving east, although that would involve a hard march deep into the woods. And
Into troll territory.
no, troll country is over here. Oh, but you becoming near ogre territory. Good point.
Oh,
good point.
ogre. I knew there was like something over there
Yeah,
that
sorry.
we had.
There's both
Yeah.
ogre and
West.
troll territory as like separate parts of this place. Sorry.
Tenta doesn't really want to visit that around that area. Kinda
But
want to
yeah,
stay away from
do
there.
you guys
Okay,
want to
so-
go fuck with some orcs at your dead friend's behest?
If that's something, yeah, I would.
If we feel like we have enough time
Yes.
and it's on Wallbridge,
Yeah,
You
you
can also
feel-
try to get in hands with the Cult of Shadows and see what the other side of this province is doing.
Sure.
Try to get that information that you just asked.
is Cult of Shadows in Rodachi or just halfway in now?
They've got people.
No, they're
they've
here
got.
too.
they've
Oh,
got
wait, no,
people
they're
everywhere.
here too.
everywhere.
Yeah.
They're throughout this province, basically.
Yeah, so you've had meetings with them. You could reach out at the Rizio River Market. You could go visit your
I guess
your
the-
Anorak friend. She likes to chill on the ceiling.
The only
yeah.
other
Oh, shit.
concern is this whole typhoon deal. I kind of don't remember all the details of what we've been hearing throughout, but like,
He's gathering the green brands under him.
Yeah. So
yeah,
you-
well, we kind of know nothing about them, so
There's something so familiar about a guy who went by the moniker Typhoon. Something so
Yeah.
familiar.
it was.
We have
I was about
almost
to
like
call
you-
Hiroshi.
Almost like you've been to a party with a guy named that.
Only 3 of us were there? Wait. Yeah, Zion's there.
Maybe his name rhymed
Yeah.
with Baka.
Nope, still not ringing any bells.
I'm not
I
kidding.
think I
It does.
remember someone named Baco.
No, no,
Paco's, oh yeah! I remember that.
this person literally, like, if Tyr were here, I would just say it because Tyr definitely remembers this guy and had a personal, private conversation with him, but no other character did. So unless you, here's the thing. Like, would any of you think to be like, hey, Tyr, remember when we went to that fancy party and some moon stuff happened and we came back and there was weird undead shenanigans? Do you remember like maybe running into anybody there who went by the moniker Typhoon? And do you think that Tyr would look at the note and respond with something other than kill? That's the only way I see you guys getting a new
Okay, but kill in
historical
that
personal
context
knowledge.
would actually make sense.
I mean,
Yeah, whoever they are, kill them.
I don't remember this, like out of character.
I legit don't remember this. I remember that there were a couple like religious figures that Lonnie was more concerned with, so Lonnie for sure would not be concerned about, would not be making this connection.
Kai,
She
do
was
you
paying
remember
attention
the
to other
guy I'm
figures.
talking about?
No, not really.
Okay. Let me
Well,
fucking.
first.
Oof. I'm sorry, Lee. We all have bad memories.
It's alright.
Yeah.
It's alright. You know what? We're gonna go in the Wayback Machine. We're gonna go back.
I
to
sometimes
the
take
past.
notes, but the problem is I put all my notes on Post-its and they're just kind of scattered around everywhere.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure at that time we got introduced to a lot of characters.
You got introduced to a fucking rogues gallery of Tessin clan motherfuckers. So I don't blame anyone for not remembering one more motherfucker who basically had a single side conversation with one character who is not presently in the party. I'm not like, oh, you should remember this. I was teasing it out because like I don't want to be too blatant.
Was
but
it?
you can look him up. You can ask people about him. You can't ask people like nakedly in the city, but you could go to your contacts in the Cult of the Shadows, or you could just ask people naked in the city. You could do that.
Was it the guy that is like the master of the Black Eagle striking wielder that we stole from?
No.
That person's
No,
dead.
that was all the way
No,
back
that,
at
that, that, that lady real dead. That lady
That
a
lady is
corpse.
dead, but like this person was connected to that lady in some shape or form, right? Or no? Or am I
I
just
don't
reaching?
remember.
That's actually not in pub. I will need to check them. He might
We're all
have
gonna be
mentioned
fucking
it.
checking the VOD soon.
Deadfin Camp. I'm trying to find the map where you guys met up with all these people. It's not going to be under Kath or Kathadak. Is it? No,
No, I can't
Kawaguri has a
remember.
separate shrine. Is it Cadcon?
Cat.
Which sounds like, where we're all going to be headed. Like, like, hey, catch us at Cadcon. No, Cadcon is probably a fucking village because it's got the yellow water symbol. Not Kawaguri Shrine. This is the first town you went into. It's not Murasatochi. It's not Raisakori. It's not River. It's not Past. It's not Saffron Province. The Fushi Market. Zafushiro Keep. Let's fucking go. I'm sorry that I've taken us on this huge diversion. But my burning desire to revisit. Lady Saito Rain with the party of 11. Hello, Lady Saito. Greetings. And welcome. Hey, I hope you guys had a great time. How are the 11 days of DMs? Did anybody get the Nutcracker, Lady Saito? I hope that gift has been giving. Yeah, so do y'all remember this get together? Remember when the party looked like this?
Let's see a black screen. Oh wait, no, never mind. I see 2 Steel Fan guards with the eye in the courtyard.
I don't see anything inside.
Unless we can move the eye.
Wait a minute, where is this dude? Oh shit, this has old lighting on it, doesn't it?
Probably. This was very early on.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey!
Yeah, wouldn't it be crazy if you guys ran into somebody whose name was Aka Typhoon Saigo at this party? Anyway, you didn't. Only Tyr did. You don't know that. Shh.
No, I don't fucking remember this at all.
Yeah. You don't remember. Nobody remembers Taka. What a shame.
I mean, she's only sitting next to Lady Hone, the person that would probably catch our eye the most.
No, he's just chilling next to Hone. To be fair, Hone is might take the notice. And there's
To
Lord
be-
Colby.
To be fair, I think Lonnie would have been purposely not making eye contact in that general direction.
Yeah, so you met a lot of
We get an
people.
honorary Kubatoth intro
Honor-
music.
an honorary fucking. Oh god, it's been so long. It's been so long. We do, in fact, play. Where is it? Where is Lord of the fucking. Do I have it under like a special. Like, yeah, I have it under character
Oh
themes.
my
Koba,
goodness,
yeah.
how long ago was this?
Yeah. The Lord of the game
This
himself,
was when
Koba
Kibancho was still
Toth.
alive.
Yeah.
This was when
Okay.
Tyr was still with us.
Hey, Slim
Yeah,
Shady.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, jeez.
Kabancho was a more recent thing. Tyr though, yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
Tyr's
that's
old.
the oh, you're old.
Yeah, that's a, yeah.
Hmm.
But maybe wait for taking care of orcs.
So I'm pretty sure that's off the table because like we
Y'all ain't- y'all
Lonnie's just
ain't
a little concerned that like this is happening and she doesn't know who this person is, but there's no way she would remember. So do we want to?
Well, you ask around for information, right? And you go to Alensha, I'm assuming, if you're looking for info with your nearest contact with the Cult and Shadows, right?
I mean, assuming Scout would. Because Scout's the one that actually has the contacts with the cult of shadows.
Alright, so does Tento want to like waltz in there and have a little chat with Alensha? You guys can all go in, you know.
Give her the bad news that we kind of gave the chair to someone else.
Yeah, you want to do that alone,
We
or you
don't
want
know
to bring your
that
boys?
they wanted it.
You
Something
move
can
it
told
down.
us.
My bad. Only I would know that the Cult of Shadows wanted it. None of you guys would know that.
Tento, you alive in there?
I thought I
I'm
said
holding you
hello,
hostage?
hello.
The Rishi with the Lee subscribe. Thank you, Rishi. Thank you for that overall
Hello?
16 months support. Yes, you want to roll up in and say hello to Walensha, right? Is everybody coming in?
Yeah, I'm just banging on the door, trying to get
Yeah,
Tito's
sure.
16 months,
attention.
bitch. Yeah, this is what
Hello?
Walensha says.
Can you
So
not hear
this
me?
spider woman, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, so she like rappels off the ceiling. They have somebody like walk by with a bunch of like pots to obscure the fact that you're all walking in here. Walensha's, you know, upside down, going down, and she says, "Hello there." And she kind of looks at you all and says, "What brings you to my domain?" And you do see there's a glistening of like silky web above.
So what did we want to ask again?
How the war front is on not our side, but on Koza's side.
There's
Okay.
that. There's if we want to go chase down the spider killer, you would need news on where they were last seen, and then also Lonnie's just like kind of vaguely concerned that Typhoon is gathering a lot of followers, but she has no idea anything about him and if this is a benign gathering or what. Like news on that.
All right, so you ask her about like the 411 on the Typhoon.
Yes.
She scratches her mandibles and says yes. They call him the Typhoon. Lord Saigo was, until very recently, a vassal of Clan Tessin in Safu province. He was loyal to the prior lord, but was kept on after their side of the conflict surrendered. We had assumed that he and Lady Hone were perhaps conspiring in an unfortunate accident for their new lord, but it should seem that that never came to pass, and now he finds himself in this province. I'm not sure what terms he left on with his liege, but I believe he has become Ronin. Now, Takasaigo enters the region and brings with him a unification of the Green Brands and a claim that he is the true heir to the ancient seat of power. Before Cathadak was Cathadak, and the coming of the Aurorii to this place. An ancient lineage. A bold claim, if true, but it seems strong enough that he has united the Green Brand. It is said that he is now almost as close as Koza, if not closer, to the capital. awaiting his moment. There are sightings of him all over the province, particularly the east. It's unclear what will happen next. As for Koza, she swept through the southern woods, and after a series of battles, gotten the better of Gedi Varkar's forces. What remain of them are bolted in at Cathator, within the fortress, and its earthblood walls. It will be a hard position to dislodge him from, but it is commonly believed that he will not outlast much of a siege.
And what about the orcs, the spider killer?
They have recently raided Wallbridge. There is a certain acrid venom to her voice. They bear the hated blade. It drips with the blood, Father. I would see them slain had we more resources in the west. She looks at all of you and says, "Hey, your friend was an Anorak.
Yes.
That weapon is anathema to all our kind. Proof of pain upon our progenitor that it lingers yet. Tell me, would you do right by your friend? See it cast asunder and destroyed?"
Tyndall's like, I mean, I would. I have no problem hunting this person down for Cabancho.
It will be difficult. They do have their raiding party with them. But if you could catch them in a fight, perhaps you could take them fuck gang to fuck gang, foot gang to foot gang. Or perhaps you could come upon them. Perhaps you could come upon them in a different context, where they are unsuspecting, and to do the job quickly. They are not one to lead from the back. Their people see them as a sort of prophet. They are an albino Kartak, revered. It is said they have mastered the 12-fold way. It will be no easy battle. And their weapon is a terror, even to you.
That doesn't sound like anything we haven't handled before.
You are bold. I applaud you.
Well,
She
thanks.
thinks about it, and she says, "I am in contact with some of my kin and kith. We mourn the loss of the fate touched. We bear the coin upon his jacket as part of the new banner that flies over many camps, green brand and otherwise. Friends of Cabancho, though they have not known him, may provide you with the means to come upon your foe and strike him down quickly. Although it will be up to you to finish the job."
Noted. And what was the last thing we wanted to do? Wanted to ask?
I think those all three.
Yeah, I think that's it.
And Alensha would
Okay.
take a moment to linger and say, one might note that both Koza and Taka rather seem to be making a play for the lineal flame.
Das. Sounds like it's got a lot of things behind it. I'm sure. Why wouldn't they use something like that, or claim something like that?
She shrugs upside down. It's a bit of a strange motion, and says, "Only, well, the lineal flame accepts many bearers, but they must beat of one heart and desire. The Green Brands and Koza's rebellion represent two different visions of the future of Cathadak. I am not sure what will come of this difference coming days. But for the moment, they both fight against the ruler, Gedi Vargo. Our organization has a vested interest in the victory of Koza Gadek, as I believe do you. Keep that in mind should you encounter this Lord Saigo.
No, thanks for the advice.
And she does linger for a moment. Roll me an insight.
Who? Tento?
People who know thieves can.
Okay.
So Tento.
Zion?
But Zion knows it. Does Zion know it too?
I have no clue.
Do they know
Tyr
Mancho's
knew it.
He is.
But
Tyr
not-
knew
Yeah.
it.
Alentia will say he is a man who lingers by my mother's hearth, in my mind, and that doesn't really make fucking jack all sense to anybody else. Ento, you know that she's saying that he's a friend, and in a way, she's implying he's a double agent or a companion of hers or something. But you think about this. You think about it really fucking hard, right? You think
Yep.
about what she's implying. You think about what she's saying. And you think she is saying for only you to know that he is in some way associated with the cult in shadows.
Ah.
And
Can I
she
get on this
was
thing once again?
reluctant to mention it. And she said it in a very coded way. Even knowing thieves can't wasn't enough to make that connection. You had to really, really think about it.
See, Tento thinks right.
So-
What's the name again that I need to be taking note of?
Taka Saigo, Taka the Typhoon Saigo, is apparently associated with the cult in shadows.
Alright, duly noted.
Yeah, so... And so you guys tell her that you're gonna go fuck up the orc? That you're gonna go fuck up this this group that is terrorizing the countryside?
Yeah. I mean, I would.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Yeah,
It-
I'm down. Well, Lonnie is
As
down
long as-
to like relieve them of the blade.
This is
Well,
for
let's
your
go fuck
friend
up some
Kabacho.
orcs!
Yeah.
It's what Kabacho would want!
Yeah, so... Yeah, you guys are all gathered together, and you've resolved to head west briefly to go against the Chalk White Pride, a Kartek brood orcs led by a Kartesh albino, and devoted to their leader Tregor 12th Touched. Tregor wields Spider Cutter, Kumo no Tsurugi, a weapon which was once wielded against the progenitor of the Anorak. Still drips with their blood. And they are accompanied by Master of the 12-Fold Way and Tregor's lover, the Zamak. And Alentia would warn you that the capacity to channel ki makes her an unrivaled foe upon the battlefield. You would do well to eliminate her swiftly. So that's basically what she fucking tells you. Here's a question. The Chalk White Pride is a small army. They live in a camp with their pride, who are all armed to the teeth and like to go kill people. Alentia's suggesting you got two ways to take them down. One, you catch them out in a battle and you Fukang to Fukang strike them down as you've done before. You'll need an army behind you. Right now your army is in the east. That's not... You could go get them, you could bring people who are around. There's multiple ways to handle it. But, you know, they're raiders. They're not a huge army, but they are an army. And the other is to basically assassinate them. She's proposing you lure them into a trap and fucking kill the shit out of them.
So poetic.
And the Friends of Kabancho, as she refers to them, provide you with potent Anorak venom, which has been put through a special ritual to preserve it and increase its potency. It will put someone the fuck to sleep. And it will do some pretty gnarly damage in the process.
Forever or just unconscious?
They will go to
Because
sleep.
a fuck to sleep could mean two different things.
Gosh, Kabancho, why couldn't you do that?
Kabancho.
Yeah, she could.
Kabancho.
Not that long.
Kabancho knows that the venom puts you into a fugue state where your spirit and soul touch the peripheries of reality, and it is taken as a vision quest for some Anorak, like holy warriors, experience, right? And they can die during it. So, Kabancho, you guys don't know that, and she doesn't say that. And unless any of you guys wants to roll me a nat 20 on a nature or history or religion check to know that. I mean, Kabancho knew, but Kabancho sleep.
Lonnie wouldn't, but I kind of want to make the roll.
Dang
just
it.
to see.
No, not 20 today, guys.
No nat 20 today.
If you're offering.
Alright, I swear to God, if Orochi gets a nat 20.
She indicates to
Damn
you.
it.
She indicates to you that
There's a 20 some.
it might not be enough to kill your. It might not be the poison enough. Might not be enough to kill them. But generally speaking, when someone is asleep on the ground, they are a lot easier to kill.
Yeah, that's pretty safe.
So,
What?
she does.
I
She
disagree
does.
with that.
She does say, "I would invite you to sink your fangs a little deeper into their throats. It is by no accident that this so-called paladin wields that blade. His intent against us is clear, and his acts are vile.
Yeah.
His lover may weep his passing, but you can send her swiftly on the way behind him.
Jeez.
Many will thank you for what you did. I am a thief. We follow a code. It is not normally one of blood and war." Her face hardens, her mandible tighten and clack. "But I am also an Anorak. That man has done things none should outlive, regardless of who they are."
Oof.
So yeah, you guys receive X6 vials of trials of the Silk White Knight poison.
So, what would it take to coat a lightning blast?
So what would it take to coat a lightning blast? Well, I would point out.
I want to see that.
Alensha does say that this is intended to be like intravenous, like you're supposed to get it in their blood flow. But if they ingest it, it actually works even faster because it gets to their liver. So
Lightning blast is a stupid question.
it doesn't have to be a combat poison.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've got pretty long range with my lightning blast. Technically, with my wind blast too. Could like wind carry this.
Goodness.
I mean, Alensha shrugs and says, "You're free to do
I'm
as you
gonna.
will."
I'm like, I look at her. She's like, I'm just gonna take these vials now. I just give him a strange look as to why he would ever say something like that.
And also says, "I would note that the Green Brands would also thank you greatly. Not only are there Anoraks amongst their number, but the Yata rely on the Tsuchigumo, the Earth Spiders. Not just the Green Brands, but also the heirs of Osor. Both would be pleased by the passing of this foe." Water bend it into her mouth while he sleeps. Ay, 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 ay.
I mean, that is
See,
the
you took
future
the-
of Orochi. It could be a waterbender.
That's the current state of Lonnie now. get good.
Well, do you have a range of 120 feet with that water bending? I don't
Well, you
think so.
don't. Well, right now you have a range of 0 with the water bending, so I don't want to hear it.
Damn.
And by the way, do any of you have a charisma or wisdom of 18 or higher?
Yes.
Alentia would look at you and, almost seeming reticent to mention it, ask, "You were a companion of Kabancho, yes? A close one. You would call him a dear friend."
Yes. Would
Yeah.
Lonnie? Okay.
She hesitates.
Just not Kavanto
Why
will
you
catch
hesi-
you. Look, just not Kavanto will catch you, okay?
And she says,
It's like, Lonnie, why are you hesitating? Why?
she says,
He was our friend.
she looks around. She sees this like going on. She says, "You are his friend. Seek out one who holds the wisdom of my people. And that vial," she lingers and says, "would give you a glimpse who we are." And that's what she says to Lonnie.
Or seek out
One who holds the
with
wisdom of my people, aka Anorax.
Are you sure 17 isn't good enough? Because 10 to 21's going to trip.
I mean, she looks at you and she says, "Fair Ilkiros, you were his friend as well?"
Very much so, yes. I glare at Lonnie.
She thinks about it and she says, "The
Lonnie's last
the
was
j-
has was
the journey
I mean,
would the
actually,
journey would not be
but-
simple for you, but the Ilkiros know how to wind through the wens and pass undisturbed through the route."
Ooh.
But know you do it at your own peril. To those not of my ilk, you are still contemplating the consumption of venom.
Well, I mean, you just build. You take venom to build up resistance, right? That's how that works.
Tinto, that's bad for you.
Says the person trying to feed us tree branches and rocks.
Yeah.
Those are definitely edible.
Edible! Technically, yes.
See?
Don't. Just accept it.
So
Apparently, you might also be able to bake them into cookies according to MatPat's videos.
Oh yeah, there you go. But that's just a theory.
So, do you guys discuss with Valencia or and amongst yourselves what your preference for doing this is? Do you want to take the fight to these orc raiders? Do you want to go help defend a town that they might hit next? Do you want to rustle up some of the heirs of Osor and other people in the region and try and, like, catch them out at their camp? Do you want to go back to your army and try and bring them a bit west from the front
Aye.
line? Do you want to catch them out in a trap? Do you want to sneak into their camp at night and assassinate them? Do you want to invite them to a nice dinner party and poison their wine?
So for
I
sure,
like-
like they want them dead. Like it's not like just about the sword. It's also about what they did.
So
Alenta.
Alentia basically implies that this guy has gone out of his way to kill a lot of innocent Anoraks. And that she, not as a representative of the cult of Shadows, but just as herself, does not want him to outlive this. She definitely wants the sword out of his hands. I mean, all Anoraks want the sword returned so that they can destroy it the right way. So that they can cleanse the wound upon Arachna. But she also really wants this fucker dead. You could
Okay.
ask her more specifically why, but she's implied heavily that he's killed a lot of innocent. And that he deliberately sought out this weapon to do it.
Okay.
I'm cool. I like the idea of like going to his next town and defending the town. It's sort of like a what's that old samurai movie called?
A
again?
Seven Samurai? You could absolutely Seven Samurai a fucking village.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I mean, Yolentia says, yes, they wouldn't see it coming. Yes, a
You'll
small
never see
group.
it coming.
Do 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 do. And Alentia says, And as it would happen, the West does still have some mercenaries and Ronin. And if you could gather an Ashigaru from amongst the Aurori of the town, you've pitched quite the battle. Yes, yes. And she thinks about it, and she pulls up the map, it's the map. And she basically indicates, that she thinks the next place they're gonna hit is because so they've hit Wallbridge, right? So the people who are like maybe trying to summon sort of a defense of the province are gonna go there or be near there. But the orcs are more agile. She thinks they're gonna draw west of Hardhaft to a town right near the cliffs that is not yet deeply polluted. And she thinks that the town of Tordan is their next target. And she thinks that if you could get there, if you went around town and got the mercenaries and the Ronin, if you wanted to bring them, or not, and you brought them with you, and you went swiftly west along these hills, about 30 miles, or 30 miles. You could skip the hill country, you could skip the mountain country, you could pass the town near Troll Country, and you could arrive in Tordan before the raid happened. And you'd have some time and bring them the forewarning to get them dug in.
I think that's a fun idea, but
That's her suggestion if you want to fight this on the field and if you want to draw them into Fugang combat. These orcs are warriors. They're brutal. The Chalkwhite Pride is not just like a tribe of people who happen to live together. They are a group who have gathered together to engage in martial pursuits. They are a raider group who follow someone they view to be a religious prophet. They are fanatical, and they are armed to the teeth. But with time, but there's a reason that they don't stand and fight. They're not that big of a group. Each of them individually is strong, but they rely on striking swiftly, unprepared, largely peasants. So if you guys show up in time, you dig in, you bring just enough people with you to like get something set up, and you train, you absolutely drill the peasants, you could win this fight.
Well, we should probably hurry then.
Yeah, here is one question. You know that there are Itoye and Northern Ronin who kind of like hang around the drinking holes in the markets of town. You've seen a few of them. They are, some of them Ritters, some of them not even Ronin, just wandering veterans of other conflicts. They've come here to Verziwa because there's mercenary work. And generally speaking, Cathadak, there's mercenary work. You could gather some of them up and bring them with you. Or you could choose to go alone. If you gather, and there's also a company of mercenaries in the region whose name I'm struggling to remember, who were at Rodachi and wound up leaving before you attacked. You could bring some of them too, if you wanted to. You could take them, move swiftly to Tordan, and be ready to march a defense, or you could go just yourselves to Tordan and just rely on the Ashigaru there, unless maybe you were able to summon some of your allies who presently station the Old Bailey.
Do we have allies in the Old Bailey?
Yeah, because the Old Bailey has been liberated.
What?
So, the skeleton force, but people loyal to the rebellion, technically speaking, hold the Old Bailey, and it's not being used as a prison anymore. That's more or less the setup. Do Do you guys think that you would try and do like a lightning blitz recruitment, or do you think that you would just push for Tordan with your party and rely on training Dane the Tordanans? I mean, these are Aurori peasants. They're more likely to be able to fight than the average peasant.
I like the idea of just pushing forward and training the peasants. We can have like, a montage and stuff like that.
Orochi doesn't have a strong opinion on this one. He's not too connected to any particular group of people, nor
'cause you're a
is he
hermit.
very martially trained to train other people.
Mm-hmm.
Is it because you're a hermit?
I mean, yes, I'm not particularly in like relations with people because I was a hermit. This is very true.
Yeah. So that is, and so is that the Zion and Lonnie have a different opinion, or is that the consensus?
I don't care.
Yeah. Lonnie doesn't really have an opinion right now.
All right. So that day, you guys strike out, and give me, as we exit here, one Pathfinder roll, Orochi.
All right, I got this, guys.
Yep, you got this, Orochi.
Survival, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
you know
double
what?
digits.
You're moving across the plains, so you manage to move twice, and you pop out here, and in the distance you see a village. As night falls, give me a perception, and this is a really fucking important perception.
Is this
Tento.
a scouting perception, or is this all of us?
No, this is Tento's scouting perception.
I was gonna say that's my
How
third.
many nat ones are you
That's my
rolling
third
today?
one. That's my third one today.
Tento,
And thank God I'm
As
keep
you
getting over
as you
20.
as you approach the village in the distance, it is at the horizon line. It's 5 miles away or so, right? But it's a bit up near the hills and the dales and the mountains, right? It's kind of up against the, for fortification purposes, presumably to defend against trolls. They are near troll country.
Mm-hmm.
But you see something after night has fallen, but before the darkness of twilight fully sets in. You see a lumbering figure.
Uh-oh.
A grand and tall entity standing thrice the height of a man. Slide into the town from behind a huge rock. And you see it crouch by a fire lit. And around the fire you see faces. Humans, goblins, hobgoblins, hard to say it. They have a meeting of sorts. Who's to say? Said they are 5 months. So yeah, that's the end of this episode. At 12:07 here. Actually, this is a little early. We don't end at 12:30, don't we?
Generally end at 12:30, but I mean, if we find a good ending point, then I don't see a reason to like force the story to push forward.
I don't think the story's gonna push forward, but I will say it is a dark night on the plains, right?
Is it a stormy night too?
Roll me a d10.
Oh God.
You asked this, Lonnie. You gotta roll it.
It is inclement weather, and there's a low-lying fog cover, and it seems like you lose your vision to the fog density coming in, and
You're welcome,
that's
guys.
when you lose sight of it, and it is like sort of like a piddling rain.
You're welcome, guys.
And yeah, so with that having occurred, what do you say, Tento, to your buddies as night falls with a little piddling rain around?
So there's some eerie weather. And I think I saw. Could I know what like species that tall figure was, or?
Got a 24. Seemed a little thin for an ogre. More like some blue bloods you fought recently in a valley. More like a troll.
So I saw a troll earlier. It seems like he had some friends with him.
How many is some?
How many again? Like 4 people.
Hard to say how many faces you saw around the fire in town, but none of them were trolls.
I really don't know, but I can tell that none of them were trolls. There's miscellaneous amounts of other
You
creatures.
said there was a troll with friends.
Yeah. What? Trolls can have. I'm sure trolls can have other beings as friends besides other trolls.
What were these? Bigger than trolls? Smaller than trolls?
It was hard to say. I just saw other faces.
They looked like some of them looked hobgoblin or human-sized. Some of them looked goblin or gnome or maybe even halfling-sized.
Goblins, gnomes, halflings, lots of different people there. Just all chilling next to a fire.
Well, I mean,
I don't.
notice them. Did they notice you?
I mean, if they did, they didn't care.
I mean, if it's a troll, it might not care, but it would definitely hunt us.
What? You're crazy. Why would it hunt us?
You note that you say that with your body made of meat.
Yeah, it's sarcasm.
Yeah, why would they hunt us?
Zion's asleep on here. Okay, yeah, no, it's fine. Even if they did notice us, even if they were hunting us, I would see them before they saw us. I would see them first.
In this fog? Are you sure about that?
In this light, are you sure about that?
Wow, I am hurt, guys. I thought I was your trusted scout.
Without any means to see in the dark.
I mean, I can still hear things. You can't just limit yourselves just to seeing, guys. It's all about feeling too. What's
Yeah,
around
you guys, don't limit yourself to just seeing.
Yeah, you must open your mind.
Yeah, I gotta feel that sense of touch.
Yeah.
What?
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 What are you talking about, Roshi?
Oh, what are you talking about?
Are we on the
Yes,
same
yes.
page?
Are
Are
we?
you okay?
I'm not sure you guys are ever on the same page.
Is there something in the fog? Why are you guys
There's like drugging you guys. Are you?
I know Tento's always like this. But Orochi?
Etsuroshi.
Yeah, we're not closing in on the Twilight Zone or anything like that.
The what?
What?
The who? What? Are you okay?
Tento, what are you talking about?
Did you? Tento looks at the venom. He's like, did you take some of this while I wasn't looking? What the fuck? Are you okay?
Well, is it not milk?
But Lonnie, he's sick. Can you fix him? He like walks away. Just scoots away from Roshi. He's like, I don't want to catch what he has.
Lonnie is just starting to set up camp.
Roshi's gonna like back away into the fog.
Oh, that's on this. What the fuck? Oh shit.
I just noticed Lee's not even here to
Lee got
Organize this.
tired of our.
I have 120L do laps.
Why is he doing?
No, but I
He's
was-
just walking. He's just doing laps.
I was hinting that I can now have I have wind sight, so I can see through magical and non-magical fog and
Oh,
other
what the
obscure
fuck were you
things.
talking about? I was like, what are you?
I can sense through the sense of touch.
This is Zion. Why is 120 just like? Is it running or?
Can
Risk
we
patrol.
oil his like
it's
legs or something? Like
It's
there's
patrol.
one creak on his left leg that's just every like third step
It's
somehow.
like creek. When was the last time you oiled it?
I don't know.
Wait, do you
Actually, you
oil
did a
it or
full repair on
something?
it, like at the Brass Eye Citadel or something like that.
I think it was on the go towards the pool.
Oh, maybe it got a little rusty on the pool.
Well, that thing never went in the pool.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
He stood out like a fucking pool boy with a towel. Just waiting.
What is a pool? But what are you talking about?
What? Tento, do you not know these things?
There is no such thing as a
Have
pool
you never
boy
been a
here.
lifeguard?
What's a lifeguard?
And we find out that Roshi's actually a time traveler.
Yeah.
The dimension
What are you
Waveburner?
talking
What's
about?
that?
Are you
Alright,
sure
so
you're okay?
all of this is panning down to this is a board game that you could play. It requires like, you know, maybe some 5 people. One person's like the controller of those 4 like players per se. They roll some
Lonnie wants
dice.
to
They
do a
write us
medicine
info
check on
down.
Orochi at this point. Did Orochi like are these signs of like hysteria or something?
It sounds like it.
Did you drink any of the water from the dirty river?
No, that's nasty.
Are you sure you're okay, Orochi? What is a pool boy? What are you talking about?
See, y'all just never understand the hermit life, you know?
What's that do for a hermit?
I don't
Do you
know.
have pools
Alright.
in the mountains? you have a pool?
120L is absolutely fucking sprinting around. Alright.
Lonnie did a medicine check on Oroshi's body nonsense.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Orochi
you
was
could've
talking
been-
about Orochi was talking about pool boys and like Twilight Zone.
Or she's over here breaking the fourth wall.
Alright.
We're just not sure what's going on.
Lonnie, you
Lee,
think
this is why you're not allowed to leave us.
Oroshi's got some kind of something going on. If you just put a wet towel on him, it'll probably be fine.
Lonnie's
Yeah.
gonna toss
Is that
out a
the-
lesser
is that what we're doing?
restoration just
Was
in
that-
case.
Wait, was that our first Nat 20? This is what the fucking Nat 20's gonna go towards seeing for Orochi. Okay? What the fuck?
Yeah, with that, I think I'm coming to that tonight. Casual reminder: !Logan can tell you the hashtag Logan Maddox Strong. Our friends are supporting someone, a kid who really needs medical funding. Please check that out and use !Logan in the chat. Check it out. We are going to go into our usual feedback phase and rate someone. I think.
This tired of our bullshit.
I think left to right. I mean, I think this is we've come to the conclusion. I think Tento's said everything he's gonna say. You guys have made all the presumptions you're gonna make for the moment. Casey, hit me. Oh wait, why am I putting this in the Twitch chat? Casey, hit me with your feedback phase. Just anything you feel like remarking upon. No pressure to anyone in particular.
There were definitely times that it felt a little slow, but it was like a lot that we had to go through. I feel like we should have totally talked about more about like what we were going to discuss with Yanlon, but at the same time, I don't know how much we could have actually prepared. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like it. I definitely wasn't expecting it to take like a whole hour and a half for that. But yeah, thank you for giving us the reminder of NPCs that we totally forgotten.
I kind of just wanted to like make him a reveal for Tier Takes Tanlin Town, and for some reason I just got into a mood today, and I was like, "This guy, it's this guy. None of your characters remember, but it's this fucking guy. Cool samurai with the green armor. It's him. It's him."
And I also appreciate you giving us like the options of how we can like a lot of like different ideas of how we can go about with this next task that we decided to throw ourselves into. Thanks, Gavancho.
You're welcome, guys. I mean, Orochi here.
See, Orochi, something's wrong for Orochi.
Hiroshi's like, I'm not really sure why
now.
we're doing this, guys. I feel like we should just hurry on to get out the door.
I'm looking forward to eventually just being able to like, sit down and tinker with all of the stuff that we have at some point.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you gave us a chance to like restock on stuff, and yeah, I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll type something if I think of something else.
All right. And boom, boom, boom. Kai, our guy, hit me with it.
Alright, I'm happy that you let us bargain and stuff. It was quite enjoyable. And the choices of going for this Kubanjo side quest and like, what was the other one? The tornado typhoon.
Yeah, talk about the typhoon. Enjoy the backstory there.
Yep.
Yeah, I wonder
And,
if Tyr's gonna implement anything.
Yeah. And I hope we can get this orc done real quick and then hit the Cathator. And yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be like games done quick, orcs done quick. Yeah, we'll wrap this up pretty quick, and then you guys get outside Cathator. Hopefully by that time, I'll be ready to transition this to Tyr Takes Tanlin Town, and then we'll bump back to the main campaign.
Us letting you have an easy time making something quick? I don't think so, Lee.
Pinto. Oh my god.
You can pretend, okay? Don't crush his hopes and dreams.
Hi. Day was a lot of fun, a lot of nice RPing out of the way. We finally got for the most part everything sorted out, so that's fun. I can't wait for this this fight that we're gonna do, because I'm super excited to see how you're gonna handle our little reenactment of the Seven Samurais, because I thought that movie was pretty cool. And I
Only you need to be this designated drunk and someone else needs to get shot. I'm gonna re-up on my 7 Samurai. We'll have a nice little illusion there.
There you go. And I think that's it from me. I really can't think of anything else.
Shin.
I appreciate you sticking with us in our indecisiveness and our long negotiation tactics.
I mean, hey, I'm down to rewatch it. There was a period of my life where the only question, whenever I asked a certain friend of mine, Brooke, if she wanted to watch a movie, almost as a joke, I wouldn't stop doing it. I'm like, what's it about? It's about a samurai trying to find his way in the modern world, by which I mean the 1700s. And she's like, God damn it. Like, we watched Yojimbo, we watched a couple. But amazingly, I've never actually seen Seven Samurai. So yeah, we'll have to do a watch party, Pat.
Gotta make sure you watch the one that was made in like the 70s or something, black and white one.
So staying with the party through the situation, right?
Yeah, and like there was a lot of back and forth and a lot of reaction, so I don't know on Casey's point, I don't know how much prep would have sped up the negotiation.
Yeah, because so much of it was like you know, you went in on your online. Oh, thank you,
yeah, a lot of it was like
Rishi.
new information and
Did you enjoy it? Yeah, there was new information. You had to actually, like, you roleplay, talk to him. I mean, on the one hand, it's like, oh, you spent a long time, but it was not like you guys were doing a shopping list. It's like you were really... This is an important character who, like people like Yan Lan and Treadfar are characters who you have seen, and Garyon, they're people whose characters you've seen through the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's important when you talk to them, because the day might come when they make a decision based on information or goods you've given them, and you have to live with the consequences, and you have to make a decision based on what you think of them. And I don't think anybody here was gonna just offload that without some assurance that, yeah, you'd had a good you'd had a good relations, but you'd also had some questionable interactions. You wanted to suss them out a little more. I think it was a good adventure, even if I probably could have sped it up a bit. Not an adventure, but a good interaction, a fun roleplay.
And Lee has to remember all the stuff that we've that we've seeded out. Have fun.
And I enjoy all the magic items that you've given us, because I know a lot of them are custom or remodeled or some shape or form unique, and not just something you pulled from a list. And I appreciate the time and effort you take to make those and implement them into our game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's some pretty cool shit. In terms of like what you can do with D&D, I run so many games that don't have magic, and so I can't just like whip that out. That I like to go hog wild with D&D.
And overall, I had a lot of fun. There was a lot of good RP moments. I did go crazy there at the last second when you left us.
Yeah, you did.
Very
Very concerning.
Free, no restriction, just whatever I could say I want to say.
Yeah, we were very concerned for Roshi's mental health after he was just like spewing out random shit.
Also, Rishi,
Bring
you
the
are a
fourth one.
sharp dresser. Don't come in here with that. I saw you DM Strahd. You had the whole getup. Rishi. Yeah. So you were the freedom to say whatever. Sorry, I keep getting.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. So you like the magic items. You were able to say whatever. Yeah, I think. Let me know if you need or want to add anything else there.
I will say I might get with you between sessions, as in either tonight or tomorrow, about magic items.
About like
more or less availability of what, because I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm like, oh yeah, this is something that would be cool. But I might get with you just to, figure something out.
So like maybe like in particular for a wave burner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a conversation to have, because
It doesn't have to be a wave burner
yeah.
thing, because you said that those are rare.
True.
Just
That
a
being
magic item in general, and either retcon or turn in those favors.
Yeah. But like things that would be cool for not Kabancha to have, Orochi to have.
I
God,
mean,
if it's
you're
cool for
welcome to
Kabancho,
make.
It would be
kept
cool
try-
for Orochi too, but
Yeah, I mean, there's when you guys were gonna sell the Rebel Blade to him, I had so many thoughts about how that could go. I was like, damn, I had never conceived of this possibility. Are they gonna sell Yonlon the Rebel Blade?
Why they do this?
I mean, I was fascinated and excited, but I think that it ultimately, what Zion and Alani agreed on also made perfect sense for their characters. So, like when Zion said, like, it is not mine to give, I felt that shit. Like, it's a human connection.
I also felt that when he said it was trash.
I mean, yeah. And the real question is, I'm not gonna say that. I don't want to put any ideas in anybody's head about the trials of the Silk White Knight.
Oh yeah, that too. That's gonna be fun.
Right, Rishi?
Can't wait to see how that turns out.
Yeah, I think with all this said and all this done, I think Level 1 Geek is still alive. Our friend Matt Stewdrinker from that crew was through a lot tonight. Love to see it. He also has a cool YouTube channel. Check that out. I should get a little ad for him. But we're going to go raid Level 1 Geek. Thank you all for coming out, Dreamers. Every Monday we do this, although next Monday I might be off for some holiday stuff. I'll keep you posted. And this Thursday, we're also off. But after that Thursday, we will get to play the Dishonored Modiphius 2D20 role-playing game system for that Thursday. For the first, for the last week and first week of this year and next year, respectively, we're playing that. Come out, it's going to have, I'm making a frame, I'm giving a first frame with an animated background. It's going to have, it's going to be a first Foundry game. Holy shit, I'm going so deep. Today's dev stream, we just found, a whole bunch of unique sounds for it. Absolutely come out for that. It's going to be a whole production. I'm going to make YouTube videos and lead up and everything. Anyway, y'all are beautiful. We're raiding Level 1 Geek. I'll catch you on the flip. See you, Dreamers.
the Wataroshi. Just spewing random nonsense that no one was sure about.
I don't know what I was talking about. I'm not breaking the
That shit was
fourth
just
wall.
funny. That was good.
It started off with just me hinting of my win site because I didn't mention it once before. And then he just went out of control once I learned that Lee wasn't here to control me.
I also like totally zoned out the last bit, so if someone could like give me a TLDR on everything in the conversation with the Cult and Shadows, because yeah, Jake came by.
Basically,
Oh.
Sorry, what was that?
Notice check, please.
Okay. 8.
basically,
should-
she was like,
Madness last.
oh,
Oh.
this
How many
orc
heroes